Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Spiritual Chi Recovery. I have a universal synthesis table. Chapter 1, Spring City. Zhang Yan was lying in a dilapidated rental house with a dull expression. A few minutes ago, he was killing all directions in the online game, the heavens, and snatched the only god-level treasure chest from several major forces. In the end, before he could react, he transmigrated into this high school student with the same name and surname as him. This world is roughly the same as the Earth. The only difference is that 300 years ago, the world of the heavens descended, a large amount of aura poured in, and the Earth officially entered the era of aura recovery. And this descended world of the heavens is very similar to the online game played by Zhang Yan. I don't know if it's just a coincidence. At this moment, a familiar system prompt sounded in Zhang Yan's mind. God-level treasure chest detected, is it open? Quote ? Zhang Yan quickly sat up. God-level treasure chest. Could it be the God-level treasure chest he thought of? This thing was brought here by him. The props in the game have become real things. Get rich. Zhang Yan immediately chose to open it. The God-level treasure chest has been opened. Congratulations on getting the Universal Synthesis Platform, Unlimited Inventory. Universal Synthesis Platform. It can synthesize everything in the world, including but not limited to ordinary items, materials, weapons, armor, medicines, exercises, special skills, creatures, etc. Unlimited inventory. Any item can be loaded, and there is no upper limit. As expected of a god-level treasure chest reward, it's awesome. After reading the reward introduction, Zhang Yan was very excited. The two things developed can be said to complement each other. Especially the Universal Synthesis Platform, everything in the world can be synthesized, which includes too many things. Although it didn't directly improve his strength, his potential was limitless. It is more valuable than directly giving him a bunch of magical equipment and skills. Zhang Yan couldn't wait to test the effect of the synthesis table, so he took out a box of reserved mineral water from under the bed. Take out 2 bottles of mineral water and add them to the crafting table. Whether to synthesize ordinary mineral water. Synthesis. There was a flash of white light on the synthesis platform, and then a system prompt sounded. Ordinary mineral water has been synthesized. Congratulations on obtaining a first-grade spiritual spring. What appeared in Zhang Yan's hand was a glass bottle filled with spiritual spring, about the size of a mineral water bottle. At the same time, Zhang Yan felt that some of the spiritual power in his body had disappeared. It seems that using the Universal Synthesis Platform still consumes spiritual power. But ordinary mineral water can synthesize spiritual springs. This is no longer 1 + 1 is greater than 2, but directly multiplied several times. As expected of a reward from a god-level treasure chest, it did not disappoint him. Continue to synthesize and see. Zhang Yan synthesized the remaining mineral water into a first-grade spiritual spring, and then put the first-grade spiritual spring into the synthesis table. Is it possible to synthesize a first-grade spiritual spring? Synthesis. The first-grade spiritual spring has been synthesized. Congratulations on obtaining the second-grade spiritual spring. Zhang Yan continued to add. Is it possible to synthesize a second-grade spiritual spring? Synthesis. The second-grade spiritual spring has been synthesized. Congratulations on obtaining the third-grade spiritual spring. Looking at the 3 crystal bottles placed neatly on the table, Zhang Yan could not stop smiling. Third-grade Lingwu. The market price of this stuff is 10,000 a bottle. In front of him, there were 3 W. Now his spiritual power has bottomed out, and there is no way to continue to synthesize it. But in 10 minutes of hard work, he earned 30,000 yuan. The material used is still mineral water that can be seen everywhere. It's so cool to make money. There's a catch though. The higher the level of the synthesized item, the more spiritual power it will consume. If the sum of his spiritual power is 100, and it takes 110 to synthesize an item, then I can only stare blankly. It seems that if you want to synthesize more advanced items, you still have to improve your own strength. Zhang Yan put the Lingwu into the inventory, and was about to go out to exchange the Lingwu into cash. No way, he is too poor. There are only 200 yuan left for this month's living expenses. There will be a field test at the school next week, and we have to pay for meals and travel expenses. It will be really hard to eat by then. After changing into clean clothes, Zhang Yan walked out of the room. The place where he lives is the cheapest residential area in the outer city. There are a lot of old buildings, ruins everywhere, and some temporary houses with steel frames and wooden boards. Unlike the inner city, the outer city is protected by defensive barriers. Although there are city defense forces patrolling throughout the day. But every once in a while, one or two monsters can always be missed and run into the outer city to make trouble. Everyone is very experienced in evacuation, and there are not many casualties. Damaged buildings and roads are increasing day by day. The speed of repair cannot keep up with the speed of damage. Over time, it became what it is today. 20 minutes later, Zhang Yan came to a silver building. He was just about to go in when he met a few acquaintances at the door. Zhang Yan, why are you here? A short-haired girl stepped forward, staring at Zhang Yan with hostility and said, you won't be following us Sayu again. Behind the short-haired girl is a girl in a white dress. She looks pretty, and she belongs to the type that boys want to protect after seeing it. The former Zhang Yan was also fascinated to death, and he licked dogs for a long time. Seeing that he was handsome, Zhao Sayu acquiesced in his actions. But some time ago, a rich and young man in the school pursued Zhao Sayu. She distanced herself from Zhang Yan without saying a word, and even claimed that Zhang Yan was pestering her all day long. The result is person to person. It didn't take long for Zhang Yan to become a pervert who likes to stalk beautiful girls. He was also called to the office by the teacher for a lecture, which further confirmed the charge of pestering Zhao Sayu. Originally, because of his good looks, he barely had a few friends in the class. After this happened, I was completely isolated. Just don't be too miserable. However, Zhang Yan has no interest in the experience of the original owner at all. He is in a good mood today, and he doesn't bother to argue with these people. Excuse me, I'm in a hurry. Hey, what's your attitude? The short-haired girl was furious when she saw that Zhang Yan didn't even look at her. In the past, in order to pursue Zhao Sayu, Zhang Yan was always nice to her. How dare he talk to her like this? Jia, don't quarrel with him. Zhao Sayu tugged at Zhang Jiajia's sleeve and said in a low voice, let's all be classmates, let's forget about the past. Looking at Zhao Sayu's hypocritical face, Zhang Yan sneered. No matter what the original owner thinks, this kind of woman can fall in love with her. Give it to him, he doesn't even bother to ask for it. Avoiding these people, Zhang Yan strode into the silver building. Looking at the back of Zhang Yan leaving, Zhang Jiajia twitched her lips. What are you dragging? A poor man, his monthly rent is not as expensive as young Master Wang treating us to a meal. Zhao Sayu smiled lightly and didn't comment much. Let's go in too. Zhang Yan followed the signs, took the elevator to the 8th floor, and found a counter at random. Welcome to Lingwu Hall, how can I help you? The staff asked politely. I want to sell these 3 bottles of Lingquan. Zhang Yan put the Lingquan prepared in advance on the counter. Do you need consignment service or direct sale? Is there a difference? Zhang Yan was slightly taken aback. This was his first time in Lingwu Hall, and he had no experience at all. I only know that things can be bought and sold here, not only the global chain, but even the world of heavens has branches. Anyway, it's awesome. For direct sale, our Lingwutang will purchase at 30% off the market price. For consignment, we will charge a 5% service fee. After the goods are sold, the money will be automatically transferred to your account. The staff explained with a smile. Then let's consign it, Zhang Yan said without thinking. Lingquan is mostly used for refining medicine, refining equipment, and making high-end dishes. The demand is very high, and there is no need to worry about not being able to sell. Please wait a moment, we need to appraise your goods first. The staff took the 3 bottles of Lingquan and handed them over to an appraiser behind. In less than a minute, the identification result came out. Sir, there is no problem with your goods. The staff handed a card to Zhang Yan. This is your consignment certificate. If you don't want to sell it, sir, you can use this certificate to get back your goods, but the service fee is non-refundable. Zhang Yan took the consignment certificate and left his bank account number, and the consignment was considered complete. The whole process took less than 3 minutes. It is worthy of being a merchant who can open chain stores to the world of the heavens. The service and efficiency are absolutely unquestionable. After leaving the 8th floor, Zhang Yan wandered around on other floors. Lingwu Tang is actually equivalent to a big shopping mall, but it is specially for warriors and spiritual masters. Some common materials, weapons, armor, exercises, medicines, etc., can be bought here. If you can't buy it, you can go to the auction on the top floor to try your luck. Looking at the dazzling array of products around him, and thinking about the school's field test next week, Zhang Yan felt that it was necessary for him to do some preparation work. Half an hour later, Zhang Yan appeared in a small shop next to Lingwu Hall. Impressively written above, the audience 2 yuan. Boss, are there any fruit knives for sale? Zhang Yan walked into the store and asked. Yes, an old man with a fan at the door pointed to the corner. There are all of them there, choose the style yourself. Zhang Yan walked over to have a look, and there really are all kinds of styles. Folded, with a plastic case, with a bare rod commander. Zhang Yan picked 100 at random, and then came to the boss. Fill it all up for me. As soon as the old man saw the big client, his attitude suddenly became enthusiastic. 200 yuan, pay first. Zhang Yan returned to his residence with a large bag of fruit knives. His spiritual power will not recover until tomorrow, and these fruit knives can only be synthesized tomorrow. Let's find a way to solve dinner first. What to eat is always a problem of the century. There are 3 options before him now. Braised pork ribs noodles, stewed chicken noodles with mushrooms, beef noodles with sauerkraut. I've made up my mind, I'll eat today. Before Zhang Yan could finish, there was a knock on the door. Who would come to me at this point? Wouldn't it be to demand the rent? Zhang Yan scratched his hair, walked over to open the door, only to find a metal doll standing outside the door. Sir, there is your courier. The puppet took out a box from its body and handed it to Zhang Yan. Zhang Yan took the package and glanced at the sender. Zhang Yingshe. That's right, I also have a sister. Zhang Yan suddenly remembered. The original owner's parents died since childhood, and he and his sister depended on each other for life. Zhang Yingshe is extremely talented, and was admitted to a key university in Shanghai. Originally, the consumption in the Magic City was high, and it also cost a lot of money to practice in daily life, and at the same time, he had to support his younger brother who was in high school. It's hard work for this eldest sister. Zhang Yan signed for the delivery, and then went back to the room with the box in his arms. Opening the box, I saw a bottle of elixir, 10 spirit beads, and a note inside. Zhang Yan picked up the note and opened it. Xiaoyan, you are about to take the college entrance examination, and my sister has nothing to give you. I hope this bottle of topaz pill and 10 spirit beads can help you. What a peerless sister. Zhang Yan has a lot of affection for this sister who has never met. What is missing? What to give him? Now there is also spiritual power, and there is also a pill to improve strength. Process it with a synthesis table, maybe you can get a higher level elixir. Looks like I won't be free tonight. Zhang Yan took out a spirit bead. After absorbing all of it, it is almost enough to replenish most of the spiritual power. Bring over the fruit knife bought at the $2 store. Get to work. Zhang Yan added fruit knives to the crafting table. Whether to synthesize ordinary fruit knife. Synthesis. Ordinary fruit knife has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the steel fruit knife. Following the method of synthesizing mineral water, Zhang Yan continued to put the steel fruit knife into the synthesis table. Steel fruit knife has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the steel fruit knife. Steel fruit knife has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the refined iron fruit knife. The refined iron fruit knife has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the black iron fruit knife. Using 4 spirit beads, 96 fruit knives were synthesized, and the last ones in front of him were 6 black iron fruit knives. Any black iron weapon can be sold for tens of thousands. It's just that the appearance is not very good looking. No matter how good the material is, it can't change the style of the fruit knife. But it doesn't matter, it's easy to use. Zhang Yan glanced at the remaining 6 spirit beads, and he decided to use one more to synthesize the black iron fruit knife, which was almost the limit of his current spiritual power. The rest had to be left to Huang Yudin. The first 2 times were synthetic common items, and he was looking forward to what Huang Yudin could synthesize. Whether to synthesize black iron fruit knife. Synthesis. The black iron fruit knife has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the black iron fruit knife. This time, Zhang Yan purposely filled up his spiritual energy. But he could make a black iron fruit knife, and still consume all his spiritual power. The black iron weapon should be able to easily kill even a first-order monster. Looking at the brand new fruit knife in his hand, Zhang Yan showed a satisfied smile on his face. Too bad it's too short. With his current strength, it's okay to do backstabs or something. If you are tough on the front, forget it. Zhang Yan put all the synthesized weapons into the inventory, and then took out the Huang Yudin from the express box. Huang Yudin is a very common elixir, which can dredge the meridians and increase the speed of spiritual power absorption. The short-term effect is not great, but the price is affordable. Affordable prices are good things for Zhang Yan. A fruit knife worth 2 yuan can allow him to make a black iron weapon. He still doesn't like those expensive ones. Zhang Yan fully recovered his spiritual power, and was going to synthesize 2 topaz pills first to see the effect. When the bottle cork was opened, a faint medicinal fragrance came out immediately. Just a sip of it can also make people feel refreshed, and even restore some spiritual power. This is the elixir refined from the spiritual plants, which is fundamentally different from the pills made from ordinary medicinal materials outside. Zhang Yan poured out 2 topaz pills and put them into the crafting table. Is it possible to synthesize a first-grade topaz pill? Synthesis. The first-grade topaz pill has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the second-grade topaz pill. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Why is there an advanced version? Zhang Yan glanced at the elixir still in the synthesis table. Second-grade Huang Yudin. It can cleanse tendons and cut marrow, greatly improving physical fitness. After reading the introduction of the elixir, Zhang Yan was completely dumbfounded. Wash the tendons and cut the marrow. Improve your physique. This is no longer advanced, but the variety has changed. Huang Yudin can reach the 9th rank at the highest. With every higher grade, the efficacy of the medicine will be greatly improved. But in general, there will not be much difference in efficacy. At present, there is only one kind of elixir that can wash the tendons and cut the marrow, and that is the pill of washing the marrow. Zisui Dan is extremely rare, and ordinary people have no way to buy it. It is a rare treasure even in auctions. Now a topaz pill has the effect of the marrow cleansing pill, and at the same time can greatly improve the physique. This has completely exceeded Zhang Yan's imagination. However, most of his spiritual power was also consumed. With his current upper limit of spiritual power, it is obviously impossible to continue to synthesize the second-grade Huang Yudin. Zhang Yan could only synthesize the remaining 8 pills first. It just happened to use up all the spirit beads. In this way, he got 5 advanced second-grade topaz pills. From the appearance, there is not much difference between the advanced version of the second-grade Huang Yudin and the first-grade Huang Yudan, except that there are a few very light silver-blue lines on the surface. In addition, there is a refreshing fragrance. Not only does it smell good, but it's also very top-notch. Try the effect first. Zhang Yan took out a pill and threw it into his mouth. The elixir melts in the mouth and tastes sweet, just like eating candy, but it is 100 times more delicious than ordinary candy. Afterwards, the body quickly began to heat up. At the same time, a painful and refreshing feeling spread from the body to the limbs, and the pores also began to secrete a small amount of black dirt. This process lasted about 5 minutes. Now Zhang Yan looks as if he has just finished a mud mask, his whole body is dirty. But those eyes were piercing. Zhang Yan shook the sweat from his hair. Now he felt that his whole body was full of strength, and his body was lighter by several degrees. Most importantly, the upper limit of spiritual power has also been increased. If absorbing a spirit bead before could restore most of the spiritual power, then absorbing a spirit bead now should only restore half of the spirit power at most. The magnitude of this increase is simply appalling. One must know that it took Zhang Yan 18 years to increase the upper limit of spiritual power to the previous level. Although he did not take any panacea, his usual training did not drop at all. Now it is just a pill, and he has completed his cultivation progress for several years. It's like dreaming. However, Zhang Yan knew very well that ordinary second-grade Huang Yudan would definitely not have this effect. The reason why the sway pill is precious is because the effect of washing the tendons and cutting the marrow can improve a person's physique and thus improve his cultivation talent. Zhang Yan's cultivation talent is only second class, which belongs to the level that can be seen everywhere on the street. According to the normal speed, one should be able to become a Tier 1 warrior after graduating from university. But now that he has taken the advanced version of Huang Yudin, even if his cultivation talent has not reached the third class, it should be infinitely close to the third class. The cultivation talent above the third level is already 1 in 100. After graduating from university, one's cultivation might reach the third level, and one can choose any job at will. As for the world of the heavens, not everyone can go there. Strength, opportunity, background. Indispensable. Many people can only stay on the earth for the rest of their lives, working as laborers sadly. This is also the fate of most ordinary people. Zhang Yan felt that his body could still bear it, so he decided to take the remaining 4 topaz pills. The elixir is gone, he can reunite. Without money, he can sell spirit springs and black iron weapons. With the universal synthesis table, he didn't worry about money at all. The most important thing right now is to improve your strength. The next day, Zhang Yan went out refreshed. Take the bus to school. As soon as he entered the school gate, he received a message from Lingwu Hall. Congratulations, Mr. Zhang, all the goods you consigned have been sold. After deducting the 5% handling fee, there is still 28,500 yuan left, which will be automatically transferred to your bank account later. Please pay attention to check. As soon as this information was sent, the bank information came in the next second. Your account has received a transfer of 28,500 yuan, and the current balance is 28,500 yuan and 3 fen. Looking at the balance in the account, Zhang Yan is in a very good mood. With money in hand, don't panic. After the field test is over, he can start a new round of synthesis. After taking 5 advanced versions of the second grade Huang Yudin, his current upper limit of spiritual power has skyrocketed. Even if it is synthetic third grade topaz pill, most likely it will not be a big problem. But he didn't have any pill in his hand, so he couldn't try it. I can only talk about it when I go back. Relying on his memory, Zhang Yan found class 6, grade 3. It turned out that a large group of people surrounded the door of the classroom, blocking the corridor. I thought I could form a team freely, but it turned out that the teacher arranged it in advance. It's so boring. Why didn't the school notify in advance? I have already selected my teammates. I heard that it was because we were afraid that the strong group action would be unfair to the team's performance, so we temporarily changed the team formation method. There's nothing wrong with this arrangement. What's the point of the test if you let the best in the class get together? Just announce that they won the first place. Wait, Zhang Yan is actually on the same team as Principal Su, isn't there a mistake? This kind of rubbish is worthy. Why don't you replace me? Hearing someone mention his name, Zhang Yan also leaned over to take a look. I saw a form pasted at the door of the classroom, on which was the list of groups for this field test. And he happened to be in the same group as the school belle Su Menr. Recently, because of Zhao Saiyu's affairs, his reputation is not good. Being in a group with Su Menr, naturally many people are not happy. But Zhang Yan is quite satisfied with this grouping. Su Menr tested the ice-type spiritual vein last semester, and she is a seedling who can become a spiritual master in the future. The talent is far beyond the 6th class of ordinary people, and the future is limitless. Before the college entrance examination started, there were already many prestigious schools offering an olive branch to Su Menr in advance. Such a strong teammate can guarantee him a high score in the test. The class bell rang, and the students blocking the door all reluctantly returned to the classroom. Zhang Yan finally didn't have to stand outside as punishment. This point was supposed to be self-study time. But everyone knows that there is a field test today, and the grouping situation has just come out. All of them gathered in small groups to discuss, and they couldn't calm down at all. At this moment, the whole school radio suddenly rang. Attention all teachers and students, this field test is tentatively scheduled for Broken Soul Forest on the outskirts of the city. Please confirm the situation of your team and prepare daily necessities for at least 2 days. We will set off in half an hour. There is still time for the content of the test. The teacher revealed it in the class group last week, so everyone has prepared in advance. Zhang Yan also brought a change of clothes and 2 days of dry food. In this test, I heard that spirit beads and pills will be rewarded for ranking high. The pill, Zhang Yan, didn't care, but the Lingju was too useful to him. As long as there are spirit beads, he can continuously synthesize items. It is much more valuable than medicine pills. After all, the elixir reward given by the school is only 1 grade at most. But now he can easily synthesize 2nd and 3rd grade pills, and he naturally doesn't pay attention to ordinary 1st grade pills. Zhang Yan, Su Shalwa told us to go over and gather. A chubby man wearing glasses came over and knocked on Zhang Yan's table. Oh, Zhang Yan nodded, got up and walked towards Su Menr's seat. I saw a place by the window, surrounded by several people. Su Menr was sitting in the middle, talking to a girl. She has exquisite facial features and perfect body proportions. Because she has ice-type spiritual veins, her slightly curly long hair and eyes are both tinged with a touch of ice blue. She looks like an elf who has strayed into the mortal world, and she is completely different from others. Zhang Yan is here too, so we should be all together. The girl sitting next to Su Menr said. Su Menr raised her eyes and glanced at Zhang Yan. Zhang Yan also looked back generously. Beauty, who doesn't like to look at it? This is not much more beautiful than Zhao Xiyu. Su Menr blushed, and quickly looked away. Well, let me briefly talk about the arrangement of this test. Su Menr cleared her throat and said. Menr, we must all listen to you. You are the strongest and have the most right to speak. The chubby guy who helped run errands just now complimented him immediately. The location of this field test is Broken Soul Forest. Broken Soul Forest is famous for all kinds of poisonous insects, snakes and ants, so everyone must bring insect repellents. If you don't have any, you can ask me to get them. I have plenty here. Before Su Menr finished speaking, Zhang Yan immediately stated, I didn't. The little fat peer gave Zhang Yan a disdainful look. It's really shameless to want everything from a woman. Su Menr just smiled, and took out a porcelain bottle from her backpack. This is insect repellent powder, it is very effective against poisonous things, I only bought an extra bottle. Thank you. Zhang Yan was not polite at all, and took the insect repellent powder over. When Xiao Pengdun heard that it was Kuchongsan instead of ordinary insect repellent, he immediately regretted it. A bottle of insect repellent costs dozens of dollars, and you can buy it in any grocery store. But Kuchongsan is worth several thousand. Could this be a concept? If he had known, he should have said that he hadn't. What is face, he can be shameless in front of thousands of worth of Kuchongsan. Su Menr continued to speak. Not surprisingly, this field test is still the same as usual, and the results are determined by the trophies. The trophies include various materials. Of course, the number of hunted wild beasts and monsters dominates, so everyone has to prepare weapons in advance. The teacher should have said this in the group. I went to Spirit Martial Hall on weekends to choose a refined steel weapon. It would definitely be easy to kill ordinary beasts. Another boy in the team took out a short sword from his backpack and danced a few swords on the spot. Very handsome. The little fat peer also quickly took off a long knife from his back, and said proudly, this is a refined iron weapon. I bought it last year. I have never seen blood before. This time I finally have a chance. I'm also a refined iron weapon. The girl sitting next to Su Menr looked at Zhang Yan. What about you? You didn't bring the insect repellent, you should bring a weapon. Those present were all high school students, and most of them were just ordinary families. Tens of thousands of weapons are basically average. But what Zhang Yan held was a black iron weapon, which was directly 2 grades higher than the fine iron weapon. He was worried that if he used it like this, it would be too high profile. You really don't have a weapon with you. The girl frowned. Zhang Yan sighed helplessly, and took out the black iron fruit knife from his trouser pocket. This is my weapon. It will definitely be fine to kill a few monsters. Zhang Yan slapped the black iron fruit knife on the table and introduced himself handsomely. Looking at the fruit knife on the table, everyone was dumbfounded, even Su Menr was no exception. Are you sure this guy wasn't joking? Zhang Yan, you're teasing us. Little Fatty's voice suddenly rose, what can you do with this broken fruit knife? You even killed a few monsters. I'm afraid they would fall apart if you didn't touch the monsters. Don't worry, the quality of my weapons is definitely fine, Zhang Yan said with assurance. Although the style of the black iron fruit knife is the same as when he bought it for 2 yuan, after the modification of the synthesis table, the quality must be worthy of the grade of the black iron weapon. Is this a quality problem? Little Fatty asked with staring eyes. They are a team. Wouldn't Zhang Yan's weapon pull his hips down like this, directly dragging their team back? If the quality is okay, that's fine. We can't just look at things on the surface. This fruit knife is made of black iron, Zhang Yan said earnestly. Hi tea. Little Fatty almost choked on his saliva. How dare you make it even more outrageous? ... Not far away, Zhao Xiyu also noticed the movement here. Seeing that Zhang Yan dared to take part in the field test with only a fruit knife, a trace of disgust flashed in his eyes. Fortunately, she stopped the loss in time. This guy's behavior is getting worse and worse. Thinking that she had been ambiguous with this kind of guy, Zhao Xiyu felt in a panic. It was because her vision was too low back then that she even thought about having a future with Zhang Yan. But without money, how can we talk about the future? These days, being handsome can't be eaten. Even if you're in a relationship, you can't even afford a date, right? Zhang Jiajia also sneered at the side. I have heard that Zhang Yan's family conditions are not good, this is too exaggerated. Zhao Xiyu pursed his lips. Don't mention him in front of me in the future. She didn't want to have anything to do with Zhang Yan at all, even hearing Zhang Yan's name made her feel uncomfortable. Got it. Zhang Jiajia stuck out her tongue. Soon, it was time to set off. Dozens of buses set off from Chuncheong No. 9 Middle School in a mighty way, heading towards the Broken Soul Forest outside the city. After leaving the city, you can see traces of various battles. A large number of city defense troops are patrolling nearby to ensure that any monsters appear and can be wiped out immediately. This is the first line of defense in the outer city. If this is breached, the outer city will also fall. Zhang Yan, I told you in advance that if you are in danger, I will not care about your life. Also, remember to stay away from Su Shalwa. If I find out that you have any small thoughts, I will definitely beat you looking for teeth all over the place. Little Fatty has been chattering non-stop since he got in the car. Zhang Yan automatically blocked the surrounding sounds and turned to look out the window. Originally, I wanted to enjoy the scenery, but found a black light rising into the sky from the dense forest in the distance. Zhang Yan regained his spirits in an instant. Is that the direction of Broken Soul Forest? He had seen many beams of light like this when playing the online game, The Heavens, and they would only appear when secret treasures were born. It is really strange to appear in such a small place as Broken Soul Forest now. Zhang Yan wrote down the location and decided to look for a chance. Just get some good stuff, and then process it with a universal synthesis table, that will make a lot of money. 2 hours later, the bus convoy stopped in an open space outside the Broken Soul Forest. As soon as he got off the car, he could see a several hundred meters long animal bone, half buried at the entrance of Broken Soul Forest. Many students are out of the city for the first time, looking at everything around them, their faces are full of surprise. Especially the animal bone, the visual effect was so shocking that many people ran over to watch it. What kind of monster is this? It's too big. I didn't think so when I looked at the pictures online, but now that I see the real body, I feel almost out of breath. If this monster is still alive, wouldn't Spring City be finished? If it stood up, it might be higher than the city wall. How could it be defended by the city defense army? The monsters near Spring City can't exceed the 3rd rank. How could such a big guy appear? Why do you think so much? This monster must have been dead for at least 1,000 years. If it is not preserved properly, all the aura on it has been lost. Otherwise, you think that with your own cultivation, you can get close to a monster of this level. Corpse bones. Just the reiatsu left over from your lifetime can make you unable to stand up. When everyone was discussing fiercely, Zhang Yan came to the corner alone and touched the animal bone with his hand. This is a good thing. Although the spiritual energy has been lost, it is still a good refining material after refining. But such a big guy, can it be put down in the item bar? Just as Zhang Yan was about to give it a try, a system prompt sounded in his mind. The item bar cannot collect living creatures, or things with owners. And many more. Living thing. Ownership. Throwing it casually in the barren mountains like this doesn't look like it has an owner. But as for living things, they are all rotten and only their skeletons are left, so can they still touch movable type? Forget it, stay away. Everything in front of him may be just a performance of deceiving people. The prompts of the system can never go wrong. At this time, the teachers of each class began to count the number of people. Soon it will be the turn of Zhang Yan's team. Su Menr, Zhang Yan, Wang Xiaoming, Gao Yang, Shu Li. The class teacher read out the list. Zhang Yan returned to the crowd and stood beside Su Menr. The other 3 members also rushed back one after another. Everyone is here, right? The head teacher took out 5 bracelets and handed them to Zhang Yan and the others. This bracelet is all ready. It can help you locate a relatively safe area in Broken Soul Forest. If the indicator light on it if it turns red, it means that you have left the safe area and must return as soon as possible. Speaking of this, the head teacher's face suddenly became serious. Although the teachers in the school will do their best to ensure your safety, if you enter a dangerous area, you will be at your own risk. Do you understand? Understood. Zhang Yan and others nodded. You can start now. The test will end at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Remember to come back on time. The class teacher waved his hand and continued to read the list of the next group. The 5 of Zhang Yan came to the edge of Broken Soul Forest. Which direction do you think we should enter the Broken Soul Forest? Let's all share our opinions. Su Menr stopped, looked back at everyone and said, Is there any difference? Shu Li blinked her big eyes, puzzled. Of course there is a difference. Walking in the middle is the closest to the interior of the Broken Soul Forest. The various resources are relatively rich. It must be worse when walking on the 2 sides. Su Menr said. Of course we go in the middle. Wang Xiaoming said hastily. It's not necessarily good to go in the middle. Gao Yang frowned and said, I just looked at it, and many teams have gone to the middle, including the top students in the first class. The top students in the first class all have the strength of a first-order warrior. Even if Su Menr is in their team, if he meets these people, he might be at a disadvantage. After all, healers are slow to play basics, and they belong to late-stage players. The current Su Menr is probably not their opponent. I think what Gao said makes sense, and it's easier to go on the right side, and many teams have gone, so we'd better go to the left. Zhang Yan also expressed his opinion. As for why the right road is easier to go, many teams have also gone, these are all made up by him. He wanted to go to the left, all because of that black beam of light. Originally, I went to the middle, and I could pass by taking a detour. But the prompt from the system just now made him feel very nervous. It's better to stay away from that bone frame. Zhang Yan, I didn't expect you to observe very carefully. You noticed all these details. Shu Li took a look at Zhang Yan unexpectedly. Hee, I'm so proud of you. Zhang Yan laughed dryly. Then enter from the left. Su Menr said at the right time, agreeing to Zhang Yan's proposal. The reason why Broken Soul Forest is called such a name is because in this forest, there are almost all giant trees hundreds of meters high, covering the sky and blocking out the sun, and there is no sunshine all year round. As soon as you enter, you can feel a burst of coldness. The 5 of Zhang Yan walked into the jungle for a short while, and the surrounding light dimmed. The chirping of insects and birds from time to time added to the weird atmosphere. Do you know that many people die every year in the Broken Soul Forest, and many of them can't even find their bones? Wang Xiaoming said in a low voice suddenly. Fatty man, can you stop talking about this kind of topic, it's already scary enough. Shu Li rubbed her arms and said with a pale face. Adjust the atmosphere, if you don't talk, it's more scary. Wang Xiaoming laughed, and just after he finished speaking, he suddenly jumped up, oh my god, something grabbed my foot. Quote. The atmosphere was already weird, but with Wang Xiaoming's loud cry, even Zhang Yan was taken aback. Because this guy was right next to him and almost deafened his ears. Fatty, can you stop scaring people on purpose? I haven't met a monster yet, I'm going to be scared to death by you. Shu Li held her undulating chest and looked at Wang Xiaoming angrily. No, I'm serious, something grabbed my foot just now, it was cold and rough. Wang Xiaoming's facial features were wrinkled, and he described it in an extremely abstract way. It's possible to encounter any situation in the wild, everyone be careful. Su Menr frowned slightly, and pulled out the long sword at her waist. Seeing this, Gao Yang and Shu Li quickly took out their weapons and stared nervously around. Zhang Yan shook his head helplessly, bent down and pulled out a vine from the dead leaves on the ground. This is the thing that caught Wang Xiaopeng just now. It looks like a vampire vine, but it died a long time ago. If it was alive, Wang Xiaopeng was dragged away a long time ago. How can he still be allowed to shout here? Su Menr used his long sword to pick apart the leaves on the ground, but he didn't find anything else. I was too nervous and misjudged. Su Menr's cheeks were flushed. She thought she was pretty good, but she didn't expect to be inferior to Zhang Yan in terms of field experience. What a shame. It's always right to be careful. There are dead blood-sucking vines here, and there may be living ones around. Zhang Yan said, throwing away the vines in his hand. His experience in wild survival is entirely due to the years of playing the online game, Gods. After all, Gods is a holographic game, and a lot of common sense in it is completely applicable here. What's more, the two worlds are so similar, even the level of the martial artist is exactly the same as in the game, not to mention other aspects. Wang Xiaopeng. Who is Wang Xiaopeng? Wang Xiaoming was stunned for a while before he realized. Zhang Yan, what are you talking about? Who allowed you to call people casually? HMPH, you don't seem to be fat. Shu Li had a lot of opinions on Wang Xiaoming, and took the opportunity to scold him. How timid are you? Just a piece of dead vine scares you like this. You always say that Zhang Yan is much better than you. Why is he stronger than me? My single-handed strength is more than 300 kilograms, and Zhang Yan's last test was less than 200 kilograms. If he is really in danger, why not rely on me? Wang Xiaoming retorted unconvinced. Hearing this, Zhang Yan raised his eyebrows. He was really curious about how much strength he had with one hand now. After taking 5 advanced versions of the second-grade Huang Yuden, his one-handed strength should be at least over 1,000 kilograms. This is still a conservative estimate. But when he goes back this time, he plans to synthesize the third-grade Huang Yuden, and it will definitely be no problem to hit 2,000 kilograms with one hand, and even 3,000 kilograms is not impossible. Stop arguing, let's hurry up, there are already many teams coming this way. Su Menr didn't want to waste time on such trivial matters, so she turned around and walked quickly towards the depths of the jungle. Shu Li glared at Wang Xiaoming, and quickly followed. On the way, Su Menr picked up a few mushrooms and a few medicinal herbs, which can be counted as points when they are brought back. The school is not worried about anyone cheating. Now that the technology is advanced, it is easy to detect when to obtain these medicinal materials. If it is earlier than the start of this test, it will naturally not be included in the score. Gao Yang also used his expertise to find several rock crystals from the cracks in the rocks. This is one of several mainstream alloy materials on the market, and it is very valuable. I killed a rabbit, does that count? Wang Xiaoming suddenly ran over with a fat big rabbit and said. It may be useless to count points, but you can add extra meals at night. Zhang Yan rubbed his chin and commented seriously. I won't give you extra meals. Wang Xiaoming snorted coldly, and hung the rabbit on his backpack. At this moment, Shu Li's scream suddenly came from not far away. When Zhang Yan and the three heard the movement, they ran over immediately. Under a big tree surrounded by several people, Shu Li was dragged to the tree by a large number of vines, and Su Menr was below with a long sword struggling to chop off the continuous stream of vines around her. Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang had never encountered such a scene before, and they were all frightened. Why are you standing still? Go up and help. Zhang Yan took out the black iron fruit knife in his pocket, and rushed up without saying a word. If Shu Li was dragged away by the vampire vines, she might be completely cold before the teacher rushed over. Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang also reacted, took out their weapons and stepped forward to help. With the addition of 3 Zhang Yans, the battle situation immediately improved. Su Menr saw the right time and rescued Shu Li from the vampire vine. This thing can't be finished, quickly withdraw. After Zhang Yan finished speaking, he just ran away. As for whether the others followed or not, he didn't bother to care. Staying here to entangle with the vampire vines, only the physical and spiritual energy is exhausted, and then it will end up being nourished for the vampire vines. Unless they have fire-type spiritual masters, they can still fight these vampire vines. Otherwise, depending on their strength, no matter how much they are, they will be delivering food. After running for hundreds of meters, the vampire vine finally stopped following. It scared me to death. I thought I was going to die. Shu Li was in shock, with tears still hanging on her face, looking pitiful. Hey, my weapon was taken away by the vampire vine. Gao Yang sighed decadently. He lost his weapon just after the test started. There is still so much time to go, and he can only deal with ordinary beasts with his bare hands. Originally, there was Zhang Yan playing soy sauce in their team, and now there is another him. If you want to get a ranking, there is definitely no hope. You also lost your weapon to save me. I will pay you for a new one after you get out. Shu Li said very considerately. She remembered that Gao Yang used fine steel weapons, and she could still afford to pay thousands of dollars. Forget it, let's talk about it after we get out. Gao Yang was in no mood at all now, and only hoped that he would not hinder the team less, so that the results would at least not be too ugly. Student Gao, I still have a lot of weapons here. Would you like to lend them to you? Zhang Yan used his backpack as a cover, took out a black iron fruit knife from the inventory, and handed it to Gao Yang. Alright, Gao Yang didn't refuse, and took the fruit knife over. Just now he saw that Zhang Yan cut off a lot of blood-sucking vines. He had a weapon in his hand, even if it was just a fruit knife. If he encountered a similar situation, he would be able to help him at least. Zhang Yan, what is your habit? Go out and stuff so many fruit knives in your backpack. Wang Xiaoming was speechless. Cut monsters, cut meat, and peel fruits, each perform their own duties, otherwise it will be bad for food to smell. Zhang Yan said half-jokingly. Su Menr looked at Zhang Yan suspiciously. Because Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang were too nervous, they may not have carefully observed the hardness of the vampire vine. She is very clear. If it's just an ordinary fruit knife, it will definitely cut blood-sucking vines. Su Menr was curious, but she didn't ask directly. Everyone has their own secrets. It is the most basic courtesy not to disturb others. Let's find a place to rest, everyone is tired. Su Menr turned her gaze to the other three. I agree. Wang Xiaoming shook his arm. After cutting blood-sucking vines for a long time, my hands are sore. When I was looking for rock crystals just now, I found a small water pool in front of me. It has a wide view, and there should be no blood-sucking vines around it. Gao Yang said. Okay. Su Menr nodded slightly, then let's go there. Zhang Yan and the others walked forward for a certain distance, and soon found the water pool that Gao Yang mentioned. There are shoals around here, and there are not many plants around, but some traces of animal activities can be seen. Everyone eat something, let's continue on our way. Su Menr also noticed this, and immediately understood that she couldn't stay here for long. Although they need to hunt wild beasts or monsters to gain points, that is under the premise of ensuring safety. She observed it just now, and there are at least 7 or 8 kinds of animal footprints near this pool. If there are powerful monsters inside, they will be in danger. The three of Shu Li didn't notice this at all, and they all found places to rest. Zhang Yan also found a rock and sat down, then took out dry food and drinking water from his backpack. Perhaps because he had taken Huang Yudin, he didn't feel very hungry, so he ate a little casually. Taking advantage of no one around, Zhang Yan opened the inventory and took a look. In addition to the 3 black iron fruit knives, there are 18 purple red vines inside. When he rescued Shu Li just now, he put it in the inventory. Vampire vines have strong vitality. Even if they are separated from the main body, they can still take root in other places and survive. He had a hunch that if this thing was processed with a synthesis table, it would definitely have unexpected effects. Thinking of this, Zhang Yan directly opened the synthesis table. There is no entity in the inventory or the universal crafting table, only he can see it. So he can craft items at any time. However, when taking things out of the inventory, you still need to cover up. Do you want to synthesize a first-order blood-sucking vine? Synthesis. The first-order blood-sucking vine has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the second-order blood-sucking vine. Huh, Zhang Yan's heart skipped a beat. Domesticated version. Can this thing still recognize its owner? Zhang Yan took a look at the introduction. Second-level blood-sucking vine. It can drip blood to recognize its owner. After being domesticated, the blood-sucking vine can control its actions with thoughts, attack method, strangle, blood-sucking. It can even be used as a weapon. Zhang Yan suddenly became interested. Vampire vines don't have their own consciousness, so it is reasonable to need thoughts to control actions after they are separated from the main body. Moreover, the blood-sucking vine still belongs to the plant category, so there is no problem in storing it in the inventory. When you meet an enemy, you can take it out from the item bar. Not only can you catch the opponent by surprise, but others will never think that the vampire vine is controlled by humans. This is simply the best weapon for doing things. However, for the remaining vampire vines, Zhang Yan plans to synthesize them after returning home. He has used up 1/3 of his spiritual power now, and he is going to bottom out if he continues to synthesize spiritual power. How can he participate in the field test? Besides, the first-order blood-sucking vines are so vigorous, the second-order blood-sucking vines should be enough. Zhang Yan cut his finger and recognized the second-order vampire vine as the master. With a thought, the vampire vine jumped out of the inventory and burrowed into the ground. The blood-sucking vines traveled underground, reaching their limit at about 50 meters. Zhang Yan knew very well that this was not the limit of the vampire vine's attack range, but the limit of his spiritual power. As long as his mental strength increases, the attack range of the vampire vine will expand. At this time, Zhang Yan sensed a poisonous snake slowly crawling on the ground through the vampire vine, and he immediately controlled the vampire vine to attack the poisonous snake on the ground. Before the poisonous snake could react, it was tightly wound by the blood-sucking vine, and the spikes pierced through its skin, and began to suck the snake's body fluids. In just a few seconds, the poisonous snake became a stiff snake and dried up. Zhang Yan remembered that when he first put the vampire vine away, there were no spikes. The attack method is simply entanglement. After the prey is hanged alive, the main body will enjoy the food. However, the advanced blood-sucking vine has the ability to suck blood, and its power is beyond ordinary. It seems that if there is a chance, he will get more blood-sucking vines to synthesize. Such an easy-to-use weapon, he is looking forward to its power after reaching the full level. Zhang Yan and others rested for about 10 minutes before continuing to set off. Wang Xiaoming complained endlessly. Who will understand how a fat man feels? His ass is still hot. Hey, there seems to be someone in front. Shu Li said suddenly. It's Lu Cheng and Zhao Saiyu. As soon as Gao Yang finished speaking, everyone in the team couldn't help but look at Zhang Yan. After all, the gossip about Zhang Yan and Zhao Saiyu spread throughout the school some time ago. At that time, many people thought Zhang Yan was obscene and perverted, and directly isolated Zhang Yan. But after getting along for a long time, they found that the rumors didn't seem so reliable. Although Zhang Yanchong is really poor, and he only brought a few fruit knives out for such an important field test, but it is really not enough to say that he is wretched and perverted. You must know that there is such a beautiful woman as Su Menr in their team. From the beginning to the end, Zhang Yan didn't look at Su Menr too much. Even Wang Xiaoming is more attentive than Zhang Yan. Then Zhao Saiyu's rhetoric is not valid at all. It depends on what I do. Zhang Yan looked puzzled. He has not retracted the vampire vine, and he has already noticed that there is someone in front of him. It looked like they were besieging a wild boar. Wild boars are just ordinary beasts, but since the recovery of the spiritual energy, even ordinary beasts have extraordinary strength. Lu Cheng and others, who had never had actual combat experience, besieged a wild boar with 5 people, and they were all in an extremely embarrassing situation. Zhao Saiyu, who always liked to dress herself up as a little fairy, was also disheartened at the moment. Because of her slow reaction, she was also knocked away several times by wild boars. Her snow-white skirt was already covered with leaves and mud, as if she came out of a refugee camp. Hurry up, someone is coming, don't let us work hard for a long time, let others catch the leak. Lu Cheng urged Zhang Yan and others not far away. Upon hearing this, the others dared not paddle any more. Finally, with their concerted efforts, the wild boar fell down with injuries all over his body. Lu Cheng walked over and cut off the wild boar's tail, preparing to take it back as a trophy for business. At this time, Zhao Saiyu discovered that it was Zhang Yan's team who came. She looked at herself in a panic, and then at Su Menr standing beside Zhang Yan, feeling a sense of inferiority. How can there be such a beautiful girl in the world? The key is standing so close to Zhang Yan. Doesn't she feel that Zhang Yan is full of poverty? After getting the trophy, Lu Cheng immediately changed his face, walked towards Su Menr with a smile. Su Shalwa, what a coincidence, how did your results go? We only found some materials. Su Menr smiled faintly. She seemed to be pleasant to everyone, but it was hard to see her true emotions. Don't worry, the test started less than half a day ago, and we were lucky enough to meet a single wild boar. Now we should be able to get the guaranteed reward. Lu Cheng said so, but he couldn't hide it in his eyes proud of. Su Menr is the highest in their class, and it is said that he is only half a step away from a first-level spiritual master, and may break through at any time. Even though he is so strong, he only got some materials for the spoils, apparently held back by a few guys in the team. For example, like Zhang Yan, who has only second-class cultivation talent, and who comes to participate in the field test and only brings a fruit knife to his teammate, no one can take it with him. It can only be regarded as Su Menr's bad luck. But in this way, they should be the ones with the highest scores in the 3rd and 6th classes of senior high school. The strength of that wild boar just now might be close to the level of a monster. Of course, Lu Cheng has never seen a real monster, but he made up his mind. He was naturally proud of being able to overwhelm the school's belle. Speaking in front of Su Menr, she became confident. Hey, killing a wild boar will get you a guaranteed reward. Don't you think the field test is too simple? We just encountered blood-sucking vines. Wang Xiaoming said, curling his lips. He just couldn't understand Lu Cheng's way of dragging 2 to 5 to 80,000. It takes so much effort to deal with a wild boar. If they encountered vampire vines, wouldn't the entire army be wiped out? Wang Xiaoming, what are you bragging about? Who doesn't know how terrifying the vampire vine is? You really met me, and you can still appear here to talk to us. Someone in Lu Cheng's team immediately mocked. That's right, you said you met a vampire vine, what about the vampire vine? Why didn't I see you take out the spoils? Another person also echoed. They had just dealt with a big wild boar, and they were all bloated. Seeing Wang Xiaoming come out to pretend, he was naturally very upset with him. I don't believe it's going down. Wang Xiaoming didn't bother to explain to these people. At that time, the situation was critical, and no one had time to take care of the spoils. Besides, the vampire vine has strong vitality. Even if he was given a chance, he wouldn't dare to take it with him. Anyway, seeing Lu Cheng's level, Wang Xiaoming is quite confident in his team. Compared with these guys, even Zhang Yan is quite pleasing to his eyes. Between people, it really depends on comparison. We still have to hurry, so we won't talk too much. I wish you all good grades. Su Menr obviously didn't want to waste time with these people, so she said hello, then turned and left. Zhang Yan and others also followed. The school bell is still as cold as ever. Looking at Su Menr's leaving back, someone sighed. She has the capital to be aloof, but Xiaohua is still very polite to people. Anyway, every time I talk to her, I feel good. Another person said. Zhao Xiyu pursed her lips, feeling very unhappy. Because she found that Zhang Yan hadn't even looked at her for such a long time. Didn't you say you liked her very much? Now that there is a more beautiful school belle by your side, you don't even want to give her a look. Men are big pigs. How did this wild boar become like this? At this moment, someone suddenly let out a scream. Everyone looked back, only to find that the fat wild boar corpse had turned into a mummy at some point, which looked particularly terrifying. My God, is there really a blood-sucking vine? Zhao Xiyu said in horror. In such a short period of time, this wild boar has been sucked like this, it's too scary. The key is still so close to us, will it attack us at any time? Seeing this scene, Lu Cheng's team was thrown into chaos. They also understand now that Wang Xiaoming was not talking big. There really are vampire vines around here. Let's leave quickly, we can't stay here any longer. Lu Cheng swallowed, his face hard to hide his panic. If you really encounter a vampire vine, even if you ask a nearby teacher for help, it may be too late. Vampire vines can be attached to tree trunks, and can also travel underground, and their attack range is not small. They must leave immediately. The farther you escape, the better. But Lu Cheng and others didn't know. The reason why the wild boar on the ground became like this is entirely the masterpiece of Zhang Yan. Vampire vines do exist, even second order, but they are controlled by humans. Zhang Yan just wanted to play a spoof, not to attack his classmates with vampire vines. If he really wanted to make a move, no one present would be able to run away. Lu Chang, this fool, is too arrogant. He just killed a wild boar. Seeing his pride, his tail almost went up to the sky. He should really show him the horror of vampire vines. Express your dissatisfaction. Su Menr really has a good temper. If he had an ice-type spiritual vein instead, he must let those guys know why the flowers are so red and why it is so cool in summer. Why are you arguing with him? There is Menr in our team. One of them can stand up to 10 of them. Compared with them, we will lower our grade. Shu Li snorted softly. But why don't we meet wild boars? A beast like a tiger. It's okay to have 2 for us to practice. Don't worry, we haven't reached the inside of Broken Soul Forest yet. Su Menr comforted him. That's right, we won't be afraid if we encounter wild boars and tigers. Shu Li said briskly. But soon, Shu Li regretted it. Because they did not encounter wild boars and tigers, but met wolves. Looking at the 2-meter-tall giant wolves in front of her, Shu Li's pupils trembled. Can she take back what she just said? She just wanted to practice with 1 or 2 beasts. But I didn't say so many people would come. Zhang Yan, who didn't take the test seriously from the beginning, also became serious. In fact, as long as it is not a monster, he can easily solve it 1 by 1. But he couldn't stand the large number, and there were 3 teammates who were about to pee in fear. As for Su Menr, she was very calm from the beginning to the end. Zhang Yan knew that she was capable, so he didn't bother to take care of her. Don't be nervous, these are ordinary beasts, there may be nowhere to go for the powerful ones, now you do as I said. When Zhang Yan was explaining to the 3 of Shu Li, 2 wolves rushed over. Su Menr pulled out the long sword, poured it with spiritual power, and suddenly swung it forward. One of the wolves was split in half in an instant, and icy flowers visible to the naked eye flew away, leaving a trace of chill in the hot air. The 3 of Shu Li were dumbfounded. Is this the strength of an ice healer? Zhang Yan was also amazed by Su Menr's move. As far as he knew, Su Menr was not yet a first-level spiritual master, but it was unimaginable that this sword energy that he swung casually could have such great power. You must know that a healer is different from a warrior. A warrior pays attention to physical strength, but a healer is good at spiritual attacks. Therefore, before a spiritual master grows up, his combat effectiveness is not as good as that of a warrior. But Su Menr's displayed strength was stronger than other fighters of the same level. This is outrageous. Remember what I just said. Seeing that there were new giant wolves attacking again, Zhang Yan dropped a word, and then took out a black iron fruit knife and stepped forward to help. He didn't learn any martial arts and body skills, but he usually took basic fighting courses at school, and those contents were engraved in his mind. Holding a fruit knife in his hand, Zhang Yan aimed at the nearest giant wolf, rushed up and cut off its right front foot. Black iron weapons can easily kill even first-order monsters, let alone ordinary beasts. No matter how hard its bones are, cutting it with a knife is like cutting tofu. The giant wolf, which lost its balance, landed on its head and fell straight to the ground. Zhang Yan took the opportunity to turn over on the giant wolf's back, aimed at its skull with a fruit knife, and stabbed hard. Boom! Half of the giant wolf's body just got up, and fell heavily to the ground again. And never got up again. Seeing this scene, Shu Li and the others were dumbfounded again. Originally thought that Zhang Yan was the tail of the crane in the team. But I didn't expect that the clown was actually me. It took Zhang Yan less than 20 seconds to kill a giant wolf. Although the speed is not as good as Su Menr. But the whole set is also smooth, the movements are clean and neat, and the handsome is outrageous. Are these giant wolves not as powerful as they imagined? Thinking of this, Shu Li and the others instantly regained their confidence. Just as Zhang Yan said just now, each of us is responsible for one direction. Gao Yang came back to his senses and reminded Shu Li and Wang Xiaoming. What Zhang Yan explained to them just now is actually a tactic that he often used with his teammates when playing games. In the case of many mobs, one person is responsible for one direction, not only will not miss the mobs, but also prevent sneak attacks from behind, which is a method that can be thought of as long as there is a brain. But for Gao Yang and others who have no actual combat experience, they definitely won't think so much for a while. What's more, Zhang Yan showed his skills in front of them. In this way, the degree of confidence in what he said just now increased by 70%. Even Wang Xiaoming obediently complied. It is said that it is a pack of wolves, but in fact there are only a dozen or so in total. Zhang Yan and Su Menr, as the main force, have already solved most of them. Only 2 ends were missed, and Gao Yang and the others rushed to the back. Here we come. Gao Yang tensed up. His weapon was swept away by the vampire vine, and now he only has a fruit knife borrowed from Zhang Yan. Fortunately, he is good at using daggers, and fruit knives are also handy. Originally, he was worried about the sharpness of the fruit knife, but seeing that Zhang Yan had already slaughtered several giant wolves, he didn't need to worry about the sharpness. Finally, the first giant wolf rushed in front of them. Following Zhang Yan's example, Gao Yang cut the wolf's front foot with a knife, and then attacked the wolf's back. The process is fine, but the effect of each step is much worse. As a result, the giant wolf was only seriously injured, but it was not life-threatening. Xu Li and Wang Xiaoming are dealing with the other end. Compared with Gao Yang, they were not so relaxed. While they were doing it, they were complaining. This wolf is made of iron, I cut it several times, and only cut a little bit of skin. Poke its eyes, fat man, your weapon is so long, poke its eyes. Gao Yang heard the movement behind him, looked back, only to find that Xu Li and Wang Xiaoming teamed up and only left a few small wounds on the giant wolf. When their refined iron weapons hit the giant wolf, it was as if they were cutting iron, and they couldn't cut it at all. What's the situation? Gao Yang was confused. He didn't have so much trouble with a fruit knife. Is the giant wolf's defense really that strong? Why does he feel that the thing he chopped up just now is completely different from what Xu Li and the others are dealing with? The gap is too big. Look at Su Menr and Zhang Yan, it's not that easy to cut. But Gao Yang just lost his mind for a while, and rushed over to help. After a lot of effort, the 2 giant wolves were finally dealt with. Wang Xiaoming was almost paralyzed from exhaustion. He sat down on the ground, sweating profusely and looked at Gao Yang. How many kilograms do you have with one hand? How do you feel that your attack power seems to be much stronger than mine? My one-handed strength is still the same as the last test, more than 300 kilograms. Gao Yang replied inexplicably. It's about the same as me. Wang Xiaoming was puzzled. However you cut that giant wolf, it's as simple as cutting a watermelon, don't you think its skin is very thick? I still want to ask, why did you take so much effort to chop that thing? Gao Yang was also puzzled. At this time, Zhang Yan and Su Menr's side also ended. As soon as he walked over, he heard the conversation between Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang. Zhang Yan opened the backpack, took a sip of mineral water, and then came to Gao Yang and said, "Didn't I tell you, this fruit knife is made of black iron?" Quote. Several people present were full of question marks. You said this fruit knife is made of black iron. Gao Yang suspected that he had heard wrong, so he asked again. That's right. Zhang Yan nodded. Wang Xiaopong said that you cut monsters like cutting watermelons, but you didn't feel it. Quote. Gao Yang was in a bad mood. He has been wondering why everyone's feedback on the giant wolf's defense is so biased. After a long time, it turns out that it is not a human problem, nor is it a wolf problem. It's a question of weapons. Because what Zhang Yan gave him was just an ordinary fruit knife, when this happened, he really never thought about the weapon. After all, who would use black iron to make fruit knives? Gone. Not to mention that Zhang Yan's family conditions are not good, but carrying a few black iron weapons with him is something that ordinary people can do. Zhang Yan, do you have any fruit knives? Please lend me one too. Wang Xiaoming got up from the ground, leaning towards Zhang Yan with bright eyes. That's a black iron weapon. It's almost tens of thousands, and it's worth 6 figures. This is something ordinary families can afford. He also really wants to have a hand addiction and enjoy the fun of chopping melons and vegetables. What happened to the fruit knife? As long as it is made of black iron, the fruit knife can also be very aggressive. Okay. Zhang Yan used his backpack as a cover, took out a black iron fruit knife from the inventory, threw it to Wang Xiaoming and said, Borrow 500 yuan a day, and remember to pay me later. 500 yuan, why don't you grab it? Wang Xiaoming stared. Then give it back to me. Zhang Yan stretched out his hand. Forget it, 500 is 500. After Wang Xiaoming got the black iron fruit knife, he couldn't put it down. It was so heavy that ordinary fruit knives couldn't compare. Shu Li looked at the black iron weapons in the hands of Gao Yang and Wang Xiaoming, feeling envious. Think about the rent of 500 yuan a day, renting it for 2 days during the field test, it will not lose money at all, okay. But Zhang Yan said that he only brought one for cutting monsters, one for cutting meat, and one for peeling fruit. That should be without her share. Zhang Yan, what do you think, why do you bring so many fruit knives made of black iron? Shu Li asked without restraining her curiosity. Well, Zhang Yan rubbed his chin and said solemnly, you don't think this style is very confusing, the enemy would never think that a fruit knife you just took out from your bag would be a black iron knife. Weapons. ... Gao Yang was speechless again. Not only did the enemy not expect it, even he himself was deceived. If Zhang Yan hadn't told him, he might not have known that the fruit knife in his hand was a black iron weapon after the test was over. Zhang Yan, you have some brains. This idea is very reliable. Anyway, if it were me, I would definitely not be wary of a fruit knife. Wang Xiaoming gave Zhang Yan a thumbs up. Right, I also think this idea is very good. Zhang Yan suddenly changed the subject. How about it? Are you interested? Do you want to sell this fruit knife for 50,000 yuan? He remembered that Wang Xiaopeng's family conditions were not bad, and it should be no problem to buy a weapon worth tens of thousands of yuan. The most important thing is that the shape of the black iron fruit knife is not very good looking, so it's fine if you can't pretend to take it out, and you may be laughed at instead. Avertisement. Now it's not easy for someone to be fooled into the bait, how can he let go of this opportunity? 50,000 yuan. Wang Xiaoming was really moved when he heard the price. You must know that the refined iron weapon in his hand cost him 20,000 yuan. The color is still very new now, if you sell it in the second-hand market, you should be able to restore 80% to 90% of the blood. At that time, if you add more than 30,000 yuan, you will have a black iron weapon and a fruit knife with such a good camouflage. What a bargain. Okay. Wang Xiaoming thought for a while, then made a decision. I'll ask my dad to transfer the money to you when I go back. Gao Yang looked at the fruit knife in his hand, and was also a little moved. He was already good at using short weapons, but the price of 50,000 was far beyond his budget. It's better to wait for the ability in the future, and then change to a new weapon. ... Taking the loot from the giant wolf, Zhang Yan and others continued to walk deep into the Broken Soul Forest. Over the next few hours, they encountered a hyena, a jungle python, and a leopard. Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang, who had black iron weapons in their hands, were extremely enthusiastic about fighting. When they saw creatures, they would rush up and chop them up, basically without any difficulty. It also strengthened Wang Xiaoming's determination to buy the black iron fruit knife. This fruit knife is so easy to use, and the black iron weapon is really different. Wang Xiaoming waved the weapon in his hand, the more he looked at it, the more satisfied he became. Black iron weapon, but it can cut even first-order monsters. How can ordinary beasts withstand it? Lu Cheng and the others are so arrogant after hunting a wild boar. If we let them know that we already have 15 prey, I wonder if their jaws will drop in shock. Shu Li said strangely. Originally possessing refined iron weapons, she should be the main combat force in the team. But now it has become the main battlefield between Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang. Even Su Menr has had nothing to do for a long time, and can only pick mushrooms and herbs boringly, making it look like he is here for an outing in the Broken Soul Forest. As for Zhang Yan, he has been silently observing the position of the team. Fortunately, there is not much deviation from where he wants to go. At this speed, tonight, while everyone is asleep, he can go to the position of the beam of light during the day to see the situation. If there is really a secret treasure born, he would not have made this trip in vain. ... It was getting dark. The five of Zhang Yan found a slightly higher hill and planned to spend the night here tonight. Do you want to eat rabbit meat, wolf meat, dog meat, snake meat, or leopard meat for dinner today? Wang Xiaoming put 5 different ingredients in front of everyone. This is what he collected specially, ready to enjoy the fun of a picnic. But no one seems to be buying it. I eat dry food. Zhang Yan raised the shallot-flavored biscuits in his hand. He didn't want to eat meat that had been left for 5 or 6 hours on a hot day. I brought a self-heating hot pot. Shu Li happily took out a packing box from her backpack. I have Bigu pill, Su Menr said. Student Wang Xiaoming, I want to ask, do you usually cook? Gao Yang asked suddenly. Don't cook. Wang Xiaoming was stunned for a while, but I don't always watch TV like this. Come to the wild for an adventure, buy some wild game and roast it casually, can't I just eat it? You also know that it was staged. Gao Yang spread his hands, another friendly reminder, without professional tools and seasonings, ordinary beasts can't make any good taste. After all, this is not monster meat. Forget it, if you don't eat it, I'll eat it myself. Wang Xiaoming didn't believe in evil yet, and ran to build a fire with the rabbit in his hand. The result can be imagined. After more than half an hour, Wang Xiaoming only got a pile of coke. In the end, I could only gnaw dry food hard. I've found a lot of these big leaves. If you put more of them, it should be quite comfortable to sleep on. Shu Li dragged a few plants that resembled banana leaves to the sleeping place. Su Menr took the insect repellent and scattered around the camp. Everyone remember to sprinkle more insect repellent. Many poisonous insects like to come out at night. If they are bitten, it will be troublesome. Su Menr reminded everyone after using up her insect repellent powder. Seeing that everyone was getting ready to rest, Zhang Yan was extremely excited. The distance from here to where the black beam of light appeared was no more than 3 kilometers at most. It only takes an hour to go back and forth. Totally enough. After an unknown amount of time, Zhang Yan heard Wang Xiaoming snoring from beside him. Looking sideways, the 4 of them were all asleep. He turned over and sat up immediately, then left the camp lightly. Not long after Zhang Yan left, Su Menr suddenly opened her eyes. She raised her hand slightly, and a butterfly made of frost landed on her fingertips. Did you find it? Su Menr narrowed her eyes, her expression was completely different from usual. This time, I am bound to win. Avertisement. Zhang Yan let the vampire vine open the way and successfully avoided several dangers. Finally, it successfully arrived at the vicinity of the black beam of light. The beam of light only appeared for a few seconds, so Zhang Yan only knew the approximate location. However, every time a secret treasure is born, the surrounding energy fluctuations are very strong, and a careful search will definitely reveal the clues. Naturally, Zhang Yan didn't need to do this kind of physical work himself. Vampire vines are much more sensitive to energy than humans. He only needs to control the vampire vine to focus on himself, slowly expand the search range, and always find the place where the black beam of light appeared during the day. Sure enough, the vampire vine wandered around for a while, and soon discovered that there was another world in a tree hole. It is a naturally formed cave. There is a mass of black energy condensed in the middle of the cave, which is obviously the source of the beam of light during the day. Zhang Yan took back the vampire vine and was going to go down to see it for himself. The space inside the tree hole is very narrow, and if you peel away the dead branches and leaves on the surface, you can see a passage that goes down obliquely. Zhang Yan knew that there was no danger below, so he bent down and walked in. Go all the way down the passage, and it didn't take long to come to the cave. There are a lot of luminous stones growing in this cave, so there is no need to worry about the lighting problem. Zhang Yan turned off the flashlight and put it in his backpack, then walked towards the mass of black energy in the middle of the cave. It's really a secret treasure. Looking at the scene in front of him, Zhang Yan was even more sure that this world was related to the online game, The Heavens, he played. Even the scene where the secret treasure was born is exactly the same, and most of the other things also exist. Thinking of those terrifying bosses in the heavens, Zhang Yan couldn't help but shudder. If he remembers correctly, the entrance to the world of the heavens is always connected to the earth. If those bosses were allowed to come to earth, any one of them would be able to destroy the world. It's not an exaggeration, it's truly devastating. Forget it, these are not what he should think about now. Try to improve his strength, and then go to the world of the heavens, this is what he should do. Zhang Yan is very experienced in opening secret treasures, but this is the first time he has seen a black secret treasure. To be on the safe side, he controlled the vampire vine to enter the energy group, and rolled out the contents. It was a pure black box with mysterious and complex patterns engraved on it. Under the illumination of the luminous stone, it reflected a faint metallic luster. In fact, the secret treasure is the treasure chest they often say in the game. What can be opened depends entirely on luck. But it's definitely full of good stuff inside and won't give you a bunch of crap. This is also the attraction of secret treasure. Give it a go and turn your bike into a motorcycle. Maybe you can get a magical costume from the secret treasure. Zhang Yan seemed to have regained the mood of opening the secret treasure for the first time, rubbed his hands excitedly and said, "Give me 2 books on martial arts and martial arts, this is what is missing now." But just as he was about to open the treasure chest, an ice blue sword energy suddenly fell from the sky. Zhang Yan quickly picked up the treasure chest and took a step back. The ice blue sword energy hit the ground, and the gravel immediately flew, leaving a big pit half a meter deep. This familiar move, familiar color. Zhang Yan looked back and saw Su Menr standing at the entrance of the cave, with frost and snow surrounding her body, her hair dancing in the wind. She was so beautiful that she was not like ordinary people. The most important is, how can the powerful spiritual pressure emanating from her be at the level of a senior high school student? This little girl has spent a long time hiding her strength. Put down the box in your hand. Su Menr looked at Zhang Yan with a frosty face. Why should I listen to you? You are not my wife. Zhang Yan raised his eyebrows. You. Su Menr's face turned red, and his eyes were full of anger. You don't have to be poor here. I discovered the secret treasure here first. You must hand it over. You discovered it first. Why did it appear in my hand? This thing is unowned, understand? Zhang Yan clapped the box in his hand, but now it's mine. So you don't want to? Then don't blame me for being rude. Su Menr's eyes were fixed, and the frost and snow surrounding her body all gathered towards the long sword in her hand. During Setsuna, the temperature of the entire cave dropped a lot. However, before she had time to move, a purple-red vine suddenly sprang out from the ground, wrapping around her calf flexibly. Su Menr was startled. How could there be blood-sucking vines in this kind of place? She quickly swung her sword to cut off the vampire vine, but only left a few shallow wounds on the vampire vine. How is this possible? Su Menr is stupid. She was using an alloy weapon. How could she not even cut vampire vines continuously? I didn't expect Su Shalwa to still like to play around, so I won't accompany you, just play slowly. Zhang Yan waved his hand, and hurried away with the treasure box in his arms. Zhang Yan. Hearing the cry coming from behind, Zhang Yan shivered. Didn't realize that Su Menr still has a temper, usually such a gentle person. The results are all pretense. Women are scary. Zhang Yan came out of the tree hole, and just as he was about to leave, he saw several black shadows coming towards him. Is it also for the secret treasure? Thinking that Su Menr was still trapped below, he immediately took the vampire vine back, and at the same time put the treasure box into the inventory. Leave these guys to Su Menr. Seeing her lose her temper so much, it's like giving her some punching bags. In the cave. Just as Su Menr got rid of the entanglement of the vampire vines, she heard footsteps coming from the passage. These lingering fellows. Su Menr looked a little irritable, but she also knew that she couldn't hide. The tree hole is the only way out here. She will only bump into those guys when she goes out now. She might as well stay here, at least there will be more room to move when fighting. Miss, it really is you. A young man came out from the passage, followed by 2 men in black. What are you doing here? Su Menr asked in a deep voice. Miss, you know that according to the sign, a secret treasure has been born here recently. The young man said flatly. So please hand over the secret treasure, miss. This is the property of the Su family, and you have no right to occupy it personally. Hearing this, Su Menr suddenly became angry. The secret treasure is not in my hands, it was already gone when I came. There is no one else here. Of course the young man did not believe Su Menr's words. This is not the first time that Su Menr sees the resources of the family, and now the family has issued a death order. If Su Menr still doesn't know how to repent, he can directly beat him up and take him back. I'll say it again, the secret treasure is not in my hands. Su Menr's tone became completely cold. Although for so many years, she has been doing things behind the back of the Su family. But I didn't expect that one day, I would take the blame for others. When Su Menr thought of Zhang Yan, her teeth itched with anger. Not to mention stealing her secret treasure, but also dare to call her wife. It stinks and shameless. Young people always feel that Su Menr is extremely angry today. He had met Su Menr a few times before, and he was very cold-tempered. Today, every sentence is full of temper. Could it be that the secret treasure has been opened, but nothing good has been opened? That would be troublesome. If this is really the case, he can only tie Su Menr back to deal with business. Miss, we don't want to waste time. As long as you hand over the secret treasure, we will leave immediately. The young man took a deep breath and repeated again. You don't understand human language. Su Menr asked back. The ice blue eyes were completely devoid of warmth. Miss, if you don't cooperate, we will have to do it. As soon as the young man finished speaking, she saw a small translucent cane suddenly appeared in Su Menr's left hand. She raised the cane high, and immediately opened her mouth. Frozen. Zhang Yan had already walked a certain distance, and he was about to reach the camp when a sudden chill hit him behind him. He turned back if he felt something. It turned out that it was snowing in the direction where the secret treasure was born. No way. Zhang Yan thought almost instantly that this must be Su Menr's masterpiece. I'll be good. Can change the weather. What kind of strength is this? Or, does Su Menr have awesome equipment in her hands? No matter which one it is, Zhang Yan feels a little scared in his heart. He can guarantee that Su Menr will definitely find him to settle the score. How about sharing half of the items in the treasure chest with Su Menr? No, Zhang Yan immediately rejected the idea. He was the one who found the treasure chest first, so there is no reason to give it to Su Menr. She is not his own wife. Besides, that little girl looks like a rich person, so why should he consider the feelings of rich people if he is poor? Shouldn't Su Menr be more generous and give things to him? Thinking of this, Zhang Yan immediately accelerated the pace of the return journey. With others around, Su Menr must not be able to do it. When he returned to Spring City, fighting was prohibited in the city, so he would be safe. Back at the camp, Zhang Yan found that the three of Wang Xiaoming were already awake. When they saw Zhang Yan, they all froze for a moment. It was Shu Li who reacted first, and ran forward and said, "Where did you and Menr go? I woke up and found that you were all gone. I thought you were taken away by monsters." Oh, Zhang Yan found an excuse casually, "I prefer the bed, and I go for a walk when I can't fall asleep." In the middle of the night, you were walking in the Broken Soul Forest. Shu Li's eyes widened. She was speechless to Zhang Yan. If you don't come back, we almost ask the nearby teacher for help. As long as the team chooses to ask the teacher for help, it is equivalent to giving up the test. All the loot they collected was for nothing. You guys are making too much fuss. I really just went out for a walk. I didn't meet a single rabbit on the road, let alone any danger. Zhang Yan explained helplessly. What about Menr? Have you seen her? Shu Li continued to ask. No, Zhang Yan shook his head decisively. Shu Li, don't worry too much. Zhang Yan has returned in good order. Menr is so strong, so she must be fine. Gao Yang came over and comforted her. That's it. Zhang Yan agreed with Gao Yang's words very much. Su Menr is not only strong, he even suspects that Su Menr is already a spiritual master. As for how many levels, it's really hard to say. Anyway, in Broken Soul Forest, there is definitely no one who is her opponent. Of course, this is limited to people. Then let's wait another half an hour. If Menr doesn't come back after half an hour, let's go out and look for it. Shu Li suggested. Half an hour, I should be able to make it back. Zhang Yan reckoned and calculated. This time, Zhang Yan's guess was pretty good. Su Menr just got stuck for half an hour to return to the camp. She looked a little tired, and her breath was a little unstable. The three of Shu Li immediately surrounded her. Menr, are you okay? Shu Li asked with concern. What can I do? Su Menr smiled lightly. It's so late, where have you been? I'm so worried about you. Shu Li looked Su Menr up and down, and seeing that she didn't have any injuries, the big stone in her heart fell. Su Menr paused, her eyes suddenly fell on Zhang Yan, asked Zhang Yan. Hearing this, the three of Shu Li looked at Zhang Yan in unison. Zhang Yan was puzzled, why do you ask me? I'm tired, I'm going to bed first. After Su Menr threw the question to Zhang Yan, she went back to her place and lay down, as if everything around her had nothing to do with her. Only Zhang Yan was left alone in the wind. This idiot cheated him. Shu Li and the three looked at each other, then rushed to Zhang Yan. Stinky boy, tell me the truth, what did you and the school belle do? Wang Xiaoming stared at Zhang Yan viciously. Yes, tell me the truth. Shu Li echoed. Well, it's better to be clear. Gao Yang nodded in agreement. The corner of Zhang Yan's mouth twitched. Don't listen to her, things are not what you think. What do you mean it's not what we think? Shu Li took a step forward, gossiping, tell us the truth, did you go on a secret date with Menr? No, Zhang Yan double denied, not to mention they weren't dating at all. Taking a step back, even if they really have that kind of relationship, Su Menr wished to cut herself with a sword when they first met, then it would be more appropriate to describe it as murdering her own husband. Zhang Yan, I didn't realize that you are this kind of person. Menr asked us to ask you, but you still don't admit it, you scumbag. Shu Li looked at Zhang Yan disappointedly and said. Yes, scumbag. Wang Xiaopong nodded fiercely. We're all about to graduate from high school. There's nothing wrong with admitting we're in love, and those present are not outsiders. Gao Yangyu said earnestly. You all think I have something to do with Su Menr, don't you? Seeing that he couldn't make any sense, Zhang Yan broke the jar. Okay, then I'll tell the truth. Before Zhang Yan finished speaking, Su Menr suddenly turned over and sat up. Don't say it. Su Menr glared at Zhang Yan. Look, she didn't let me say it. Zhang Yan spread his hands. Seeing this, Shu Li and the three were even more sure that Su Menr and Zhang Yan had a shady relationship, but they were not going to make it public yet. Thinking of his goddess being cheated by Zhang Yan, Wang Xiaoming was about to cry. Brother, I want to open up. Gao Yang patted Wang Xiaoming on the shoulder. Don't worry, I won't say anything. Shu Li assured with her hands raised. Zhang Yan, Su Menr. Su Menr was just worried that Zhang Yan would leak the secret treasure, but Shu Li and others were so good at making up their minds. The key is that the explanation is not clear now. Forget it, go to sleep. Su Menr completely gave up on herself. No matter what others think. Anyway, she won't stay in Chuncheong for long. When you go to college, who will know who? It's all gone, there's still a test tomorrow. Zhang Yan also waved his hand and sent Shu Li and the three away. He still has work to do. It's not convenient for him to do anything when they're all surrounded here. The three of Shu Li reluctantly left. The surroundings finally quieted down. Zhang Yan opened the synthesis table. Although synthesizing blood-sucking vines during the day and dealing with wolves, part of the spiritual power was used up. However, Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang were working in the afternoon, and his spiritual power has almost recovered now. It is a waste for him to use up his spiritual power. What's more, since he was being targeted by Su Menr, improving his strength must be the first choice. Zhang Yan now has two choices. One is to continue to synthesize fruit knives, and the other is to continue to synthesize blood-sucking vines. Zhang Yan doesn't know what kind of weapon the black iron fruit knife can continue to synthesize, but he knows that there is a high probability that a third-order vampire vine will be synthesized if the blood-sucking vine continues to be synthesized. According to his observation, the second-order vampire vine already has the defensive power of a second-order monster, and it can be said that it is invulnerable. That third-order blood-sucking vine is the corresponding third-order monster. Although the only attack methods are strangling and blood-sucking, the powerful camouflage ability of the vampire vine can often exert a greater effect than its own strength. Zhang Yan thought about it for a while, and made a decision in his heart. He took out 2 blood-sucking vines from the inventory and added them directly to the synthesis table. After synthesizing the first-order blood-sucking vines, he continued to add the second-order blood-sucking vines to the synthesis table. Is it possible to synthesize a second-order blood-sucking vine? Synthesis. The second-order blood-sucking vine has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the third-order blood-sucking vine. Zhang Yan couldn't wait to take a look at the attributes of the third-order vampire vine. Third-rank vampire vine. Recognized owner, domesticated vampire vine, can control its actions with thoughts, attack method, strangulation, blood-sucking, slightly poisonous. A new attack method. Zhang Yan's eyes lit up. If it is slightly toxic, it means that it will poison the enemy, but not kill it. In some cases, it is quite convenient to use. For example, it is good to deal with Su Menr. I just don't know what the effect of poisoning is, so I can try it tomorrow if I have a chance. Blink of an eye to the next day. Zhang Yan didn't sleep much all night, but he was still full of energy. Su Menr has 2 dark circles under her eyes, and she is not energetic, but it doesn't affect her appearance much, but she looks a little decadent. The test ends at 6 p.m., let's walk around the area and prepare to return. Su Menr said to Zhang Yan and the others. The secret treasure is no longer there, and there is no point in continuing to go deeper into the Broken Soul Forest. This position is already more dangerous. We can go another way when we go back, maybe there will be other discoveries. Shu Li immediately suggested. I have no objection, whatever is fine. Wang Xiaoming said inarticulately while biting a piece of bread. Then everyone have breakfast first, and we will leave in 10 minutes. After speaking, Su Menr glanced into the corner. Zhang Yan was sitting there drinking water. Feeling Su Menr's gaze, he sighed helplessly. This is the 5th time Su Menr has seen him this morning. I didn't know, but I thought Colonel Suwa was secretly in love with him. But only he knows that Su Menr is definitely thinking about how to fix himself. This little girl is usually gentle, but she actually has a lot of thoughts. Anyone who is confused by her appearance will definitely be sold in the future and will have to help count the money. As for Su Menr's performance, in the eyes of Shu Li and the other 3, it was more like a young couple quarreling. However, Zhang Yan has not acted, making Shu Li anxious to death. In the end, I couldn't stand it any longer, so I ran to Zhang Yan's side secretly, and asked in a low voice, did you and Menr quarrel yesterday? Arguing. Zhang Yan thought for a while, that's not. They just had a fight. Didn't you realize that Menr is angry? Shu Li looked at Zhang Yan bitterly. I know. Zhang Yan nodded. Su Menr almost had her unhappiness written all over her face, who couldn't see it? But watching the secret treasure being robbed helplessly, anyone would have to be depressed for a few days. Normal. He is different, he found the secret treasure, and now he is in a really good mood. When I go back, I have to find a place to celebrate. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Then why don't you hurry up and coax Menr? Girls just want to coax. If you don't do anything, she will only get angrier. Shu Li said in the tone of someone who has come here, but she never thought that she is also an 18-year-old girl, single dog of the year. No, she doesn't like to be angry, I'm in a good mood anyway. Zhang Yan said with his hands behind his head, crossing his legs. Shu Li was stunned by Zhang Yan's speech. Why can such a person have a girlfriend? Or did Su Menr like this? I won't tell you anymore, I'm going to solve the major issues in life. Zhang Yan picked up his backpack and walked towards the nearby grove. Shu Li. Zhang Yan found a place to put the water, and then took the third-order blood-sucking vine out of the inventory. Go, catch that rabbit for me. After receiving the order, the vampire vines immediately swam along the ground. The rabbits in the Broken Soul Forest are all flexible and extremely fast, but they still have no ability to resist the attack of the third-order vampire vine. After a while, the vampire vine dragged the poisoned rabbit back to Zhang Yan. Because Zhang Yan wanted to study the toxicity of the blood-sucking vine, he didn't let the blood-sucking vine suck the rabbit dry, but just punctured the skin with a sharp thorn and injected a small amount of toxin. Zhang Yan squatted down and turned the rabbit over. It turned out that the rabbit was still conscious, but its whole body was stiff, as if it had been frozen. Could it be that the toxin of the blood-sucking vine has an effect similar to anesthesia? Zhang Yan touched his chin. If there is a fight, if you hit the enemy, wouldn't you be invincible? So Su Menr had better not mess with him. Otherwise, he wouldn't mind giving Su Menr a shot, letting her taste the anesthetic injection. After about 2 minutes, the rabbit's body gradually recovered, and then kicked its legs, struggled a few times and ran away. Zhang Yan also patted the dust off his hands and returned to the camp. But they saw Su Menr and the three hiding behind a big rock, sneaking around like thieves. "What are you doing?" Zhang Yan asked suspiciously. "Hush." Su Menr turned her head and made a silent gesture. Knowing the situation, Zhang Yan immediately walked over with light steps. At the bottom of this small hill, a monster with a height of several floors was moving its fat body slowly. Chapter 14. This monster is hard to describe in words. It is completely composed of a large number of meat, and its body is covered with tumor-like eyes. As it moved forward, the dozens of pairs of eyes also kept turning. Just looking at it can make you sick. The faces of Shu Li and the other three were already pale with fright. Su Menr also had a serious face. After a long time, after the monster left completely, Zhang Yan and the others came out from behind the stone. "I swear, I've never seen such a disgusting thing in my life. It's against humanity." Wang Xiaoming wiped the cold sweat from his forehead, and said after the catastrophe. "Isn't this still in the safe zone? How could such a monster appear?" Shu Li couldn't speak very clearly, her hands were shaking constantly, and she seemed quite frightened. "The thing just now didn't look like a monster, but more like a monster I've seen in a book," Gao Yang said with a frown. "Monster?" Wang Xiaoming's eyes widened. "Didn't that only appear in the world of the heavens?" "It is indeed a monster." Su Menr confirmed Gao Yang's guess. The end of Broken Soul Forest is the Sunset Mountain Range, and the Sunset Mountain Range is adjacent to the entrance of the heavenly world. The possibility of wandering all the way to the Broken Soul Forest in the mountains. My God, if it is really a monster from the world of the heavens, then something big will happen. Wang Xiaoming took a breath. Unexpectedly, when they participated in the field test for the first time, the monsters were not allowed to be encountered by them, but they encountered monsters from the world of the heavens. Although the world of the heavens has descended for hundreds of years, it is still too far away for ordinary people. What's more, what appeared in front of their eyes was something like a monster, and few people even mentioned it on the internet. This matter should be reported to the nearby teachers, otherwise many people will die in this field test. Su Menr's expression was not very good. Just in time for the birth of the secret treasure, even the monsters from the heavens appeared. Is this really a mere coincidence? The black secret treasure is a special case. In fact, the Su family didn't know what would be inside, so they treated it as an ordinary secret treasure site. But Su Menr had seen relevant information in an ancient book. The black secret treasure represents evil, fear, and exchange. As long as you get the black secret treasure, you can get endless power. That's why she went to school in a small place like Chuncheong. After lurking for 2 years, she was waiting for this day. She needs the things in the black secret treasure to help her regain everything that belongs to her. Thinking of this, Su Menr glanced sideways at Zhang Yan. As a result, Zhang Yan happened to look at her. "Do you want to make a big deal?" Zhang Yan asked suddenly. "What do you mean?" Su Menr was stunned. "I know how to kill that thing just now. How about we share the spoils equally?" Zhang Yan had a completely different reaction from Shu Li and the others. When he saw this monster for the first time, it was as if he saw white silver. This kind of monster is called Baoshan, and it likes to store all kinds of treasures. As long as there are treasures, it will appear. So don't look at its disgusting appearance. As long as you split it, you can get a variety of materials. When he was playing the online game, The Heavens, for half a month, he was squatting on this kind of monster to refresh. The refining material for his first spiritual weapon also came from this monster. At that time, many local tyrants came to him and wanted to buy the spiritual weapon in his hand, but he refused. If it weren't for this spiritual weapon, he wouldn't have developed so smoothly in the future. In the end, it can even compete with many forces. In fact, Baoshan's level is not high. In the online game, The Heavens, it is completely a kind of welfare monster, corresponding to the level of a fourth-order monster in this world. But he still couldn't beat it. Otherwise, how could it be possible to recruit others into the group? "I don't want it." Su Menr snorted softly. She just wanted to get back the secret treasure box she had guarded for 2 years, and she was not interested in anything else. What's more, that thing looks so disgusting. Why bother to kill it? How about this? You help me kill that monster, I will get all the loot, and I will let you pick one from the secret treasure box. Zhang Yan knew that Su Menr was still thinking about the treasure box, so he immediately lowered his voice. Baoshan is covered with water, and moves slowly, and the ice-type spiritual power can restrain it to death. If Su Menr is willing to help him, the battle can be resolved in 5 minutes. Let me pick one. Su Menr suddenly became unhappy. That is obviously my treasure chest. Secret treasures are ownerless, whoever grabs them will own them, and it belongs to me now. Do you have any objections? Zhang Yan is still calm, but his tone is not so good. He will not let Su Menr just because she is beautiful. If you want to get something, you have to pay the corresponding price. Isn't that what it should be? It was like he needed Su Menr's help, so he exchanged the things in the treasure chest. He doesn't take advantage of others. But if others want to take advantage of him, there is no way. Okay, but you have to let me choose first. Su Menr hesitated for a while, but decided to agree first. No way, she has been staring at Zhang Yan for a long time, and she is sure that the secret treasure box is not on Zhang Yan. When she followed the team back to Spring City, she would have nothing to do with Zhang Yan. Now she promised Zhang Yan that at least she still has the chance to see the treasure chest. Yes, Zhang Yan raised his eyebrows. This is not playing a game, you can directly see the attributes. Even he can only see the detailed introduction by putting things into the synthesis table. Su Menr can really pick out the best things, it can only show that she is lucky. Zhang Yan and Su Menr asked Xu Li and the three to stay where they were, and they went to notify the nearby teachers. In fact, he chased after Baoshan in the direction he left. It didn't take long before they saw that fat body sitting on a piece of herbal medicine, stuffing something into its mouth. Tell me how to kill this thing. Su Menr put her hand on the weapon at her waist. She could roughly feel the aura of the monster in front of her. Although it looked terrifying, it was not too strong to deal with. Use your trick from yesterday. Zhang Yan turned to look at Su Menr and said. I don't know what you're talking about. Su Menr pursed her lips and said. That's fine, you can use it as you like. This monster is afraid of ice-type spiritual power, so you can just use your spiritual power to attack it. Zhang Yan saw that he didn't get Su Menr's words, so he didn't bother to ask. As Zhang Yan's voice fell, Su Menr had already rushed out. When she was 4 or 5 meters away from the monster, she pulled out the long sword at her waist and drew a circle in the air, and a tornado mixed with frost formed instantly. Zhang Yan recognized it as a spiritual art at a glance, and it was a high-level spiritual art. This guy is hiding deep enough. In the next few minutes, it will basically be Su Menr's battlefield alone. Baoshan has a bulky body, and its only means of attack is to jump up and use its weight to suppress the enemy. Su Menr is flexible like a butterfly. Especially every time he avoided a monster attack, his little waist twisted like it was about to break. If this is in, Zhang Yan immediately interrupted his thoughts. If you think about it any longer, you won't be able to stop it. Not suitable, not suitable. After a while of shaking, Baoshan finally fell to the ground. Just after finishing the monster, Su Menr came to Zhang Yan angrily. Is this the cooperation you mentioned? She has never seen a man let a woman do work, but she sits and slacks beside her. I never said that I would do it myself. Zhang Yan was very confident, and I am not providing you with ideas, I will contribute my brains, and you will contribute your strength. This is also a kind of cooperation. Su Menr was speechless to Zhang Yan. You can say this kind of thing, can you still have some face? She was originally an ice spirit vein. Does Zhang Yan remind her? Her spiritual power attribute is there, can this also be Zhang Yan's credit? The corpse is there, you can figure it out. Su Menr said angrily. Wait for me for a while. Zhang Yan took out the black iron fruit knife and came to Baoshan's corpse. Baoshan, which was frozen into ice, has been torn apart. He rummaged inside for a while, and soon dug out a large piece of crystal. I saw a black bead inside the crystal, pried it open with the handle of a knife, and a strong fragrance came out immediately. Smelling this fragrance, Su Menr couldn't help being moved. What is this? Su Menr couldn't hold back and asked. Drug core. Zhang Yan was quite satisfied with his harvest this time. This treasure mountain obviously has a soft spot for all kinds of medicinal herbs, so it will form a medicinal nucleus in the body. The drug nucleus cannot be taken directly, but you only need to scrape off a little powder and add it to the elixir, and the power of the elixir can be increased by more than 10 times. Although he is not a pharmacist, he has a universal synthesis table. The properties of the items processed by the synthesis table will be greatly improved, and the medicine core will be added. I really don't know what the ordinary medicine will look like. You know quite a lot. Su Menr was just curious. She would not be interested in the materials dug out from the body of that ugly thing. Let's go back and find Gao Yang and the others. Zhang Yan put away the medicine core, stood up and said, "What about the treasure chest? Where did you hide it? Don't you want to take it back together?" Su Menr always thought that Zhang Yan had hidden the treasure chest in the wild. If he didn't find the treasure chest now, when would he have to wait? "Don't worry, I won't pigeonhole you. Zhang Yan is not that stupid. Now it's just him and Su Menr. Taking out the treasure box is completely betting on whether Su Menr will do anything. He doesn't need to take this risk." "Okay, you better not lie to me." Su Menr gave Zhang Yan a warning look. She deliberately showed her strength just now, just to let Zhang Yan know how powerful she is. If this guy dares to lie to herself, she doesn't mind taking the treasure chest by violent means. Zhang Yan and Su Menr returned to the camp, and the three of Gao Yang immediately surrounded them. "How is it, Menr, have you found the teacher?" Shu Li asked quickly. "The teacher was not found, but we found that the monster has gone deep into the Broken Soul Forest. As long as the students participating in the field test do not exceed the safe range, there should be no problem." This is what Su Menr and Zhang Yan discussed in advance. It can't be said that the monster has been slaughtered by them, so Shu Li might think that their minds are not normal. Great, Shu Li breathed a sigh of relief. Then let's go back quickly. The test ends at 6 o'clock in the evening, and we might not be able to catch up any later. Su Menr nodded. On the way back, they encountered many teams. Most of the teams looked extremely embarrassed, but after staying in the field for more than a day, many students were already dirty and no different from beggars on the street. On the other hand, Zhang Yan and the others, with large and small bags of trophies, were clean and refreshed. Except for Wang Xiaoming, of course. His body shape has nothing to do with Qing Shuang. It seems that we should be able to get at least one of the top 3 in the grade. Wang Xiaoming said in a good mood. "When we get to the meeting place, we will know our rank." Gao Yang said, and glanced at the black iron fruit knife in his hand. "Such a good weapon, it will be returned soon. Thinking about it, I really can't bear it." At this time, Shu Li suddenly ran over. "I just heard from a team in the next class that Zhao Saiyu's team encountered a monster and killed it." Shu Li said with an outrageous face. "Just Lu Cheng's team." Wang Xiaoming laughed loudly. "This is the biggest joke I've heard this year. They can't even handle a wild boar, and they even kill monsters. I heard that there are trophies. There should be no way to fake it." Shu Li didn't want to believe it, but if Lu Cheng could really take out the trophies, then their team would definitely be number 1. "Maybe I encountered some monster's corpse, and picked up a leak. If it has been dead for many days, there is absolutely no way for the teacher to pass the level." Wang Xiaoming still does not want to believe that Lu Cheng's team can kill the monster. These days, bragging is not a draft. They also saw monsters from the heavens world today, and they didn't see anyone running to show off. Zhang Yan's mentality is quite calm. Originally, when he participated in the field test, he just wanted to get a good ranking as much as possible and get some spirit beads for use. There were so many windfalls as a result. Blood-sucking vines, secret treasures, medicine cores. Especially secret treasures and medicine cores, if they are taken out casually, they can set off a bloodbath. Don't look at the surface of this world as calm. When there is a need to compete for resources, it is done with real knives and guns. It was still early when Zhang Yan and others arrived at the assembly point, and only a few teams were handing in their spoils. They found the testing point of the 3rd and 6th classes of high school and walked over. "Teacher, this is our trophy." Su Menr took the lead and put the backpack on the table at the inspection point. "It seems that you have gained a lot," the class teacher said with a smile, and immediately opened the backpack, and put the trophies into the instrument for testing. There are so many adult giant-backed wolves, have you encountered a pack of wolves? The head teacher looked at Zhang Yan and the others in surprise. We not only met wolves, we also met a big guy. Wang Xiaoming said proudly. Oh, what big guy? The head teacher became interested. The monsters of the heavens. As soon as Wang Xiaoming finished speaking, there was a burst of laughter from the side. Wang Xiaoming, you are so bragging, you dare to make up anything. Zhang Yan looked back and saw Lu Chang, Zhao Saiyu and others walking from the direction of Broken Soul Forest. They all looked unkempt, as if they had rolled in the mud. But they were in good spirits, and the dirt on their faces couldn't stop their excited expressions. Those who didn't know thought they had won the first-class lottery. Who is bragging? Seeing Lu Chang, Wang Xiaoming sneered. I heard that you killed a monster, show us the spoils. Do you think I'm you? I never speak big words. Lu Chang walked forward with his backpack in his hand, and opened the zipper. Suddenly, a strong smell of blood and a powerful spiritual pressure came out. Zhang Yan frowned. Why is this aura so familiar? Wang Xiaoming's expression also changed. Could it be that he was going to be slapped in the face? No way. How do you think Lu Chang and his group don't have the strength to kill monsters? Seeing Wang Xiaoming's expression, Lu Chang twitched the corners of his mouth sarcastically, and then poured out the contents of the backpack. It was a cloudy eyeball, the size of a watermelon, covered with mucus, which looked extremely disgusting. Zhang Yan sighed helplessly. Sure enough, he guessed right. These guys are too ignorant. Even he didn't dare to bring this thing back, because he considered how much commotion it would cause. Fortunately, Lu Chang and others treated it as their own. They never thought about their own strength, whether they deserve such spoils. Upon discovering the commotion here, students from other classes gathered around. God, what an amazing spiritual pressure, this must be a monster. It seems that he died not long ago, so there should be no problem. I've heard that Lu Chang and his team killed a monster, but I didn't expect it to be so big. Just looking at the eyes, the body must be at least 7 or 8 meters high. Huh, it's so disgusting. Don't everyone say that monster meat is delicious? Who can eat it when it grows like this? Ouch, no, I'm going to throw up. This monster must be very powerful. Lu Chang and the others are too fierce. Shu Li and the others saw something was wrong. Do you think this thing looks familiar? Shu Li said in a low voice. Aren't these the eyes of that monster? Wang Xiaoming couldn't hold back his foul language. Indeed, Gao Yang nodded. Idiot, even Su Menr couldn't hold back a curse. ... Hearing all kinds of exclamations around them, Lu Chang and others were about to float into the sky. Teacher, this is our trophy, please check it. Lu Chang said excitedly. I heard that the first place in this test will be rewarded with hundreds of spirit beads and a bottle of green jade pill. At least 6 figures in value. This is definitely a huge sum of money for ordinary high school students. On the way back, Lu Chang had already figured out how to spend the money. The head teacher didn't speak. He changed into a brand new pair of gloves, put the eyeballs on the table into the testing instrument with a serious expression. As a Tier 3 martial artist, he could tell at first sight that this trophy was abnormal. That weird aura definitely wasn't what an ordinary monster should have. And just the suffocating spiritual pressure, it shows that the strength of this monster may be much stronger than him. How could this be something that ordinary high school students could handle? Of course, he also hoped that he was thinking too much. Counterfeiting the booty will be punished by the school. If this kind of thing happens at the moment of graduation, it will even directly affect the results of the college entrance examination. In a few minutes, the test results came out. Looking at the various parameters displayed on the screen, the head teacher's face darkened directly. Is this really your trophy? The class teacher raised his head and asked. Teacher, how dare we lie to you? When we met this monster, it was seriously injured. Even so, we spent a lot of effort to kill it. Although it is a bit opportunistic, luck is also strength for a part of it. The school doesn't have regulations, you can't hunt and kill injured monsters. Zhao Saiyu stood up and said at this time. She has always been an image of a good girl, and she has a good impression on the teacher. Lu Chang's words may not be believed by anyone, but for Zhao Saiyu, the effect is completely different. However, after listening to Zhao Saiyu's remarks, the class teacher's face did not improve. Then do you still remember what this monster looks like? This. Zhao Xiyu thought for a while and said, its size is too big. If I read it correctly, it should be a meat worm. Of course, it may be something else, I can't describe it well. When they saw this monster, it had already been dismembered into more than a dozen pieces. Except for bugs, she really couldn't think of anything that could grow into such a virtue. Wang Xiaoming, go and call the principal and other teachers over. The head teacher said suddenly. Hearing this, the faces of Zhao Xiyu and others changed. Why even the principal called over? Even if their trophies were wrong, it wouldn't be such a serious mess. Teacher, what I said is true. When we met this monster, it was already dying. We just went up to fix it a few times. Zhao Xiyu explained in a panic. That's right, we don't have a single lie, teacher, you must believe us. Lu Chang also had an anxious face. But no matter how they explained, the head teacher was unmoved, and just signaled to Wang Xiaoming again with his eyes. Teacher, I'll go right away. Wang Xiaoming came to his senses and ran away cheerfully. Let these turtle grandsons be arrogant, will this come without retribution? Dare to regard the monsters of the heavens as their own trophies, they really think of themselves as a piece of material. If you speak out, you are not afraid of being laughed out of your teeth. Zhao Xiyu's face turned pale. Why did it become like this, what is wrong? Along the way, they exchanged their lines several times, there is no reason to reveal their secrets. Lu Chang returned to Zhao Xiyu with a gloomy face, and complained in a low voice, it's all your fault for the bad idea. It's all right now. The principal is here, how can we hide it? The teacher didn't say that we cheated. Why are you accusing yourself? As long as we don't admit it, we will be fine. Zhao Xiyu comforted himself. You haven't seen it yet, it's not a matter of cheating. Lu Chang only regretted it in his heart, and he was also obsessed with ghosts, so he believed this girl's nonsense. When I proposed it, didn't you all agree? Now blame me. Zhao Xiyu also lost her temper, trying to blame her all, but there was no way. Then what do you think we should do? Lu Chang asked without hope. It's still the same sentence, just don't admit it. I don't think the teacher found out that we cheated, but the monster itself has problems. Zhao Xiyu pondered slightly. That's the only way to go. Lu Chang said in a deep voice. The students watching the excitement around were all confused. What's the situation? Why did you call the principal? Zhao Xiyu and the others are not cheating, are they? It's hard to say. Mr. Zhou called the principal and accompanying teachers over. It's just that if the booty is fake, it won't go to this level. I'm just saying, apart from Su Menr, who in class 6 can kill the monsters. I'm afraid they just rely on their brains to figure out how terrifying the monster's strength is. But Zhao Xiyu looks quite innocent, not like someone who can tell a lie. Whether it's true or not, we'll find out later. Not long after, Wang Xiaoming brought the principal and accompanying teachers over. The homeroom teacher called them aside to discuss for a while, and then returned to Zhang Yan and others. Menr, just now Wang Xiaoming said that you encountered a monster, is it true? The head teacher looked at Su Menr and asked. Su Menr nodded. What does the monster you see look like? The head teacher continued to repeat the question that Zhao Xiyu had asked before. The height is about 20 meters, and the body is fat, narrow at the top and wide at the bottom. There are no less than 30 pairs of eyes on the body, a pair of tentacles, which should be used for eating, and a big mouth 2 to 3 meters wide. At present, only understand these. Su Menr replied very professionally. After hearing Su Menr's description, the expressions of the students present all changed. What is this thing that can grow like this? And more than 20 meters is too high. It is equivalent to a building with 7 or 8 floors. Zhao Xiyu and others were ashamed. Because the monster in Su Menr's mouth is the pile of minced meat they found. Even describe it more completely and in detail. Monsters are creatures that only appear in the world of the heavens. But they brought them back as their own trophies. No wonder the teacher didn't believe what they said, and kept asking what the monster looked like. This is a big joke. After the class teacher asked Su Menr, he turned to look at an old man next to him and said, Principal, it completely matches the characteristics of a low-level monster, and the instrument has also detected the existence of demon energy. How much strength is it? The old man asked. At least the 4th level. The class teacher thought for a while. Hearing this, Zhao Xiyu felt that she couldn't even stand still. Tier 4. They actually brought back the fourth order monster, and even swore that they killed it. When she said this, even she herself thought it was extremely absurd. The key is that so many people around are watching now. Zhao Xiyu can't wait to dig a hole and get in. After making such a big joke, how will she behave in school in the future? This matter is no small matter. Report it to the inner city after you get back, and let the higher-ups send someone to deal with it," said the old man. "Yes," the head teacher replied. By the way, the old man looked at Zhao Xiyu and the others. All their grades are recalculated, and the rest will be discussed when we go back. After speaking, the old man left with the teachers of other classes. The homeroom teacher put on a cold face and put a red cross on the transcripts of Zhao Xiyu and the others. All 0 points. At around 7 o'clock in the evening, all teams returned safely. Only a few of them were seriously injured, and a few were permanently disabled. No way, this is reality. When you choose to take the college entrance examination, field tests are inevitable. If we say that before high school, students can still grow slowly in a safe environment like flowers in a greenhouse. But going to college is like going to the battlefield. Field training is directly one of the compulsory courses. Not to mention missing arms and legs, death is a very common phenomenon. This field test before the college entrance examination can be regarded as allowing everyone to adapt in advance. If you can't accept it, you can consider other ways out as soon as possible. After the spoils were counted, each class returned to their buses. Zhang Yan found a seat by the window and sat in. Before he could catch his breath, Su Menr followed closely and sat beside him. "From now on, don't try to leave my sight." Su Menr leaned on the seat and said, "Whatever you want." Zhang Yan took out a bottle of water from his backpack, opened it and took a sip. "Is there any more? Give me a bottle." Su Menr looked sideways at Zhang Yan and said, "It's gone." Zhang Yan handed over the mineral water in his hand. "Do you want to drink it?" "Take it away, I don't want it." Su Menr turned her head back. "Don't pull it down." Zhang Yan took 2 more sips, and was just about to put the water into his backpack when a pair of small white hands suddenly stretched out in front of him, and at the same time, a pleasant scent of flowers rushed over his face. "Give me your mobile phone number," Su Menr said with an unnatural expression, holding a newest mobile phone in her hand. This was the first time she took the initiative to ask a boy for his mobile phone number. However, in order to prevent Zhang Yan from running away, it is necessary to leave a mobile phone number. "Wait, let me look for it." Zhang Yan rummaged in his backpack for a long time, and finally found the brick phone he bought for 200 yuan. After fumbling for a long time, he turned it on and found his number from the address book. "That's it, you lose." Zhang Yan pointed to the string of numbers above and said, "Do you have any brains? You can't even remember your own phone number." Su Menr had no choice but to save Zhang Yan's number in the address book by herself, and then put the phone away after confirming that she could dial it. "It's nothing to do with you. I'll go to bed first, call me when I arrive." Seeing the interaction between the two, Shu Li and the 3 of them were already familiar with the strangeness, but the rest of the 3rd and 6th classes of high school seemed to have seen a ghost. When did Shalwa have such a good relationship with Zhang Yan? On the way here, the 2 of them didn't say a word, and Su Menr took the initiative to sit next to Zhang Yan when they returned home. The 2 of them continued to interact, and they almost made the boys in the class envious. You must know that Su Menr is notoriously cold. She is very polite to others, but keeps her distance at all times. Shu Li may be the only one who can be called a good relationship with her. Even so, their relationship was limited to classmates. Someone asked Shu Li about Su Menr. Shu Li didn't even know Su Menr's personal number. But such a cold and mysterious goddess not only took the initiative to sit beside Zhang Yan today, talk to Zhang Yan, but also took the initiative to ask Zhang Yan for contact information. Is this the sun rising from the west, or is the goddess wanting to fall in love? It's over. Zhao Xiyu was even more angry. A poor man like Zhang Yan can still find a new girlfriend who is much prettier than himself. Did you make a mistake? Take a look at what Zhang Yan is wearing. It's all street stalls worth tens of dollars, and even a man of this age still uses a smartphone for elderly people. Doesn't Su Menr think it's embarrassing to take this kind of boyfriend out? This is definitely not her problem, but Su Menr's blindness. Under the surveillance of Su Menr and the attention of everyone in the car, Zhang Yan returned to Chuncheng safely. At this time, it was already 9 o'clock in the evening. The teacher announced that the field test is officially over, and the ranking will be announced tomorrow morning. At the same time, a new prize has been added, so stay tuned. But for this new prize, everyone is not interested. Many students are already exhausted, and there are even a few teams that can get the rankings. Now they just want to go back to wash and sleep. Zhang Yan also wanted to sneak away, but was stopped by Su Menr. Don't go yet, I'll treat you to supper later. Su Menr didn't wait for Zhang Yan's answer, and continued, don't refuse. Someone invites you to dinner, why should I refuse? Zhang Yan raised his eyebrows, but I have agreed, I won't eat cheap ones, I'm going to the Eight Immortals Tower. Zhang Yan chose the most expensive restaurant in Spring City. The most important thing is that this restaurant is in the inner city. The law and order in the inner city is no better than that in the outer city, and if there is any disturbance, the security forces can arrive immediately. Su Menr definitely didn't dare to act recklessly. Okay, I've asked the driver to wait outside, let's go. Su Menr just wanted to get the things in the treasure box, and she didn't care about the mere meal money. Moreover, the privacy of the Eight Immortals building is good, and many dignitaries like to talk about things in the Eight Immortals building. Opening the treasure chest there can be regarded as a guarantee for both parties. Menr, you are so stingy, we came back together, but you only invited Zhang Yan to eat supper alone. Shu Li pouted beside her and said angrily. That's right, Wang Xiaoming and Gao Yang echoed. I'll invite you guys tomorrow, I have something to say to Zhang Yan alone today. Su Menr said. Shu Li's gossip soul suddenly ignited. Could it be that Su Menr is going to confess his love today? How brave. It was the first time for her to see a girl who was so active in love, and she deserved to be the idol she had silently worshipped for 2 years. Thinking of this, Shu Li immediately clenched her fists to cheer up Su Menr. Come on, no matter what you decide, I will support you, but you must pay attention to safety. Su Menr. She went out for a meal, what safety should she pay attention to? The Eight Immortals Tower is in the inner city, who would dare to make a move in the inner city? Seeing that Su Menr didn't seem to understand what she meant, Shu Li leaned over and whispered in a low voice, I asked you to take safety measures. Su Menr blushed, what nonsense are you talking about, I'll ignore you. After finishing speaking, she dragged Zhang Yan and walked quickly towards the school gate. At the back door of No. 9 Middle School, a black Imperial car was parked there. Imperial Sedan is the most famous luxury car brand in the world, and the cheapest series also start at 7 figures. If you want to buy it, you need to have certain qualifications. When Zhang Yan followed Su Menr into the car, he suddenly felt surrounded by money. Cushion made of monster skin, high-grade alloy body, starry sky roof inlaid with various colored gemstones. Is this the world of the rich? Go to the Eight Immortals building. Su Menr said after putting down her backpack. Yes, miss. The middle-aged man sitting in the driver's seat replied respectfully. Your family's conditions are so good, why do you want to go to school in the outer city? Zhang Yan felt that Su Menr must have a big head. He always knew that Su Menr's family conditions were not bad, but this is too good, it is completely out of tune with the outer city. I like it, I am happy. Su Menr snorted softly. Okay, Zhang Yan was just asking casually. He knew that Su Menr had many secrets, but he didn't have any secrets himself, so it's fine for everyone not to interfere with each other. Half an hour later, the car drove into the inner city smoothly. Compared with the outer city, the environment of the inner city is more inclined to the city where Zhang Yan lived in his previous life. High-rise buildings, busy traffic, a bustling scene. However, the area of the inner city is also extremely small, with only a few 100,000 people living here. Just pick one out and put it in the outer city, it will be at the level of the super rich. Not long after, the car stopped in front of an antique restaurant. Miss, the Eight Immortals Tower is here. The driver turned around and said. You don't have to wait for me, I'll go back by car later. Su Menr told the driver, then opened the car door and walked out. When Zhang Yan got off the car, he took out the treasure chest from the inventory and stuffed it into his backpack in advance. Although this world also has storage bags, storage rings and the like. But those are luxuries that only high-level warriors can afford. Not to mention spending money, even flower spirit stones can't be bought. In this case, he definitely can't expose the existence of the inventory, and it is still necessary to cover it with a backpack. Zhang Yan followed Su Menr into the Eight Immortals Tower, and the two asked for a small box on the top floor. After sitting down, Su Menr randomly ordered a few signature dishes of Baxianlu. When the waiter left, she turned the room to do not disturb mode, and then looked at Zhang Yan. Take out the things, I don't want to hear any other reasons. What's the hurry? I'm not a dishonest person. Zhang Yan opened his backpack and took out the treasure chest with some difficulty. There is no way, the treasure chest is too big, and it takes up almost half of the space in the backpack. His breakfast was squashed. Seeing this scene, Su Menr was also a little puzzled. She has always been curious about where Zhang Yan would put the treasure chest. Of course, she had observed the backpack several times, and it was clear that there were only 2 pieces of clothing and some food in it. How did this treasure chest come out of nowhere? It's not possible that Zhang Yan has space and no storage in his hand. But Su Menr didn't think too much. Her attention was quickly attracted by the treasure chest. I haven't touched the treasure chest, you can check it. Zhang Yan pushed the treasure chest forward and made a gesture of please. No need, just open it now. It's not the first time Su Menr has gotten a secret treasure box. She can tell at a glance whether she has opened it before, so there's no need to waste time on such things. She just wants to know what's inside the treasure box. There is something. Ladies first, Zhang Yan said generously. It was also the first time he had seen the black secret treasure box, so there was nothing wrong with letting Su Menr open it. In case of encountering a trap box, he can also call the emergency center for Su Menr. Anyway, with classmates, he will definitely not die. But it's not necessarily the case if it's Su Menr. This little girl would absolutely wish for him to die suddenly. Therefore, it is more appropriate to let Su Menr do this kind of uncertain thing. That's what you said. Su Menr took the treasure box and pressed the switch without any hesitation. There was only a light click, and the lid of the secret treasure box was slowly opened. Immediately, a golden light lit up, and 3 items flew out from inside, floating quietly above the treasure chest. These 3 items are a scroll, a token, and a pill. It's hard to see their specific functions from the outside, but at least you can see what type they belong to. There's not much time, you choose first. While Zhang Yan was speaking, a purple-red vine quietly crept in from the rear window. This is the 3rd-tier vampire vine that he released in advance. If Su Menr wants to go back on his word, he will take immediate action and take back all the contents of the treasure chest. Within 5 meters, he can put anything into the inventory at any time. At that time, Su Menr will not even try to get anything. Let me think about it. Su Menr's expression was a little tangled. What would help her more? It is uncertain whether the elixir is temporary or permanent, and it must not take risks. Scrolls are nothing more than kung fu, martial arts, spiritual skills and the like, or they may be more valuable refining formulas. But she needs something that can directly improve her strength. No matter how high the value is, it is of little use to her. Then only tokens are left. This style is likely to be equipment, or it may be a certificate to enter some place. The randomness is great, but it contains more possibilities. After thinking twice, Su Menr finally decided, I want the token in the middle. Okay. Zhang Yan reached out to take the token, and checked the attributes with the synthesis table. Dead Soul Token. The dead soul of a strong person is sealed, and can be summoned to assist in the battle. Every time it is used, the dead soul will weaken a little until it completely dissipates. After reading the introduction, Zhang Yan breathed a sigh of relief. This thing is not very useful to him. He is more willing to invest resources in cultivating blood-sucking vines than a piece of equipment with a limited number of uses. It is obedient and easy to use. You don't even have to worry about eating and drinking. Is there a more worry-free helper than this? Here you are, once you get it, you can't go back on your word. Zhang Yan handed over the token. You don't need to remind me. Su Menr took the token and put it directly into the backpack. In this way, the transaction is considered complete. Zhang Yan is quite satisfied with the result. Lose a dead soul card in exchange for a drug core. After all, he earned it. After getting their respective things, Su Menr went to the front desk to pay the bill, and then left in a hurry. Zhang Yan took a taxi back to his rental house after eating and drinking. Anyway, the money has been given, so don't eat for nothing. After taking a shower, Zhang Yan took out all the harvest, this time from the inventory. Blood-sucking vine, drug core. There are also scrolls and potions from treasure chests. Zhang Yan put the scroll and the elixir into the synthesis table one by one to identify their properties. Blood Sea Purgatory Map. After use, it can put the enemy in the illusion of Blood Sea Purgatory. The effect is determined by the user's mental strength. Shenmai Pill. After taking it, a kind of Shenmai will be randomly obtained. After reading the introduction, Zhang Yan became short of breath. Shenmai Pill. Did he read it right? There is such a thing. Shenmai is a more advanced cultivation physique than Lingmei. When Zhang Yan played the online game, The Heavens, in his previous life, there were no more than 3 players in the entire server with divine veins. They are all well-known powerhouses on the leaderboard. Zhang Yan once had the honor to PK with a Shenmai player. The other party can use any attribute of spiritual spells, and the power is doubled. It is not too perverted. But in this world, he has not heard of Shenmai yet. Maybe it exists, but the world doesn't know it at all. But what does the dark version mean? The introduction doesn't make it clear. As for the Blood Sea Purgatory Map, it is considered a relatively rare fantasy magic weapon. Although it is also very precious, compared with Shenmai Pill, it is not enough at all. Zhang Yan put Shenmai Dan into the synthesis table alone. A elixir with such heaven-defying attributes, what effect will it have after adding the medicine core? But after thinking about it, Zhang Yan still didn't dare to take the risk. Both the Shenmai Pill and the medicine core were too precious, and it would be difficult for him to find a replacement if he lost any of them. Try it with something else first. The main reason is that Shenmai Dan also has a dark attribute. Even if a better one is synthesized, he dare not take it lightly. So there is no rush for this matter. Zhang Yan picked among his pile of things, and finally took out the black iron fruit knife and an ordinary blood-sucking vine. I don't know what the effect will be when 2 completely different items are synthesized. Just do it. Zhang Yan added the black iron fruit knife and normal vampire vines to the crafting table at the same time. Whether to synthesize black iron fruit knife plus first-order blood-sucking vine. Zhang Yan's eyes lit up. Sure enough, there is a show. Synthesis. Black iron fruit knife plus first-order blood-sucking vine have been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the bloodthirsty fruit knife. Bloodthirsty fruit knife. What a weird name. Zhang Yan couldn't help complaining, and then glanced at the attributes. Bloodthirsty fruit knife. A very unusual fruit knife, forged from black iron, extremely sharp. Adding blood-sucking vines even has a bleeding effect, doubling its power. Quote ? How to introduce more wonderful. But it turns out that 2 different items can indeed be synthesized. And at the same time retain their own characteristics. After I get the reward for the field test tomorrow, I can do some more tests then. The next day, Zhang Yan came to school early. The ranking of the field test has been announced. They won the first place in the 3rd and 6th classes of high school, and the 3rd place in the whole grade. The top 2 were all rounded up by class 1. After all, there are several warriors in the family, and 2 of them happened to be assigned to a team. They not only hunted down a large number of ferocious beasts, but also hunted down a tier 1 monster. The first place is well deserved. Of course, this is on the premise that both Su Menr and Zhang Yan release water. Otherwise, that 4th-order monster alone could instantly kill everyone's results. Zhang Yan, have you heard that the new reward for this field test is actually the qualification to enter the number 37 secret realm, and our 3rd place can just get 2 places? Wang Xiaoming suddenly ran up to Zhang Yan, his face full of excitement. Said excitedly. Secret realm number 37. Zhang Yan was slightly taken aback. A high school in the outer city like 9th middle school can still get a place in the secret realm. The sun is out in the west. The secret realms on the earth are all opened up by the strong in the heavens. From time to time, they will put some cultivation materials into it to help the human beings on the earth to better improve their strength. If you think about the things thrown in from the heavens, you will know how precious they are. So naturally not everyone can enter. There are currently 108 entrances to secret realms on the earth, and each entrance is in the hands of major forces. Spring City can get dozens of places every year. But those schools in the inner city alone are not enough points. How could it be the turn of the outer city? At this moment, a boy covered in famous brands came over. Zhang Yan, Wang Xiaoming, please make an offer. I bought the quota for the secret realm in your hands at a high price. This is something to do. He quickly looked at Zhang Yan, but found that Zhang Yan didn't respond. This guy is Wang Peng, Zhao Saiyu's new partner. Wang Xiaoming approached Zhang Yan and reminded him in a low voice. Oh, Zhang Yan suddenly realized. What do you think? Do you want to wait for Mengran to come? Wang Xiaoming asked. The quota is shared by us, what are we selling for? Let him go. Zhang Yan raised his eyebrows, not hiding his voice at all. Zhang Yan, you have the guts to say it again. Hearing this, Wang Peng immediately exploded. Let you go. Zhang Yan repeated again. He has always been easy to talk to. But that depends on who the other party is. Although he has no direct grievances with Wang Peng, when the original owner broke up with Zhao Saiyu, Wang Peng often humiliated the original owner by the side. Based on this alone, it is impossible for him to give Wang Peng a good look. He doesn't pay attention to a nouveau riche with a little money in his family. Zhang Yan, are you looking for death? You think I'll have nothing to do with you if you're in the city? Seeing that Zhang Yan really dared to let himself go, Wang Peng's face turned blue with anger. Even the few geniuses in the first class would have to be polite when they met him. Zhang Yan, a guy who came out of the slums, why would he dare to talk to himself like this? You're so noisy. Zhang Yan picked out his ears. I'm sitting here, what do you want to do to me? Hurry up. Okay. Wang Peng gritted his teeth and said, if you have the ability, don't go out of the city for the rest of your life, otherwise you will see how I will deal with you. Welcome anytime. Zhang Yan shrugged. HMPH. Wang Peng snorted coldly. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. You also said that the quota of the secret realm is not yours alone, and whether you sell it or not is not up to you alone. Wang Peng directly took out a check and slapped it on the table. 5 million, I'll buy you a quota, and each of you will share 1 million, which is enough for you to live comfortably for more than 10 years. 5 million. Now, even Wang Xiaoming was shocked. Among a bunch of high school students, whoever can spend tens of thousands of dollars is at the level of the rich. After all, this is an outer city, and most of them are ordinary families. But Wang Peng was able to directly take out a check of 5 million, just to buy a place in the secret realm. This shot is too generous. How? You have no reason to refuse this price, right? Wang Peng looked at Zhang Yan proudly. With this money, you can move out of that dilapidated rented house, otherwise you are still a poor man. When I find a girlfriend in the future, I don't even have the money to go to the hotel, so I'll be ashamed of you. You don't have to worry about that. I don't know if they sell it or not, but I don't anyway. Zhang Yan said indifferently. As long as he wanted, he could get as many 5 million yuan as he wanted. Not to mention the Shenmai pill and the Blood Sea Purgatory map that were unearthed from the treasure chest, just the vampire vines that can be domesticated. He casually synthesized a few second-level ones and sold them, and a bunch of people rushed to buy them at high prices. In addition, there is an advanced version of Topaz pill, which has a similar effect to Zisui pill. It's not too much for him to sell 1 million, right? If it wasn't for him not wanting to attract too much attention now, it would be a matter of minutes to make money. Zhang Yan, think about it clearly, this is 5 million, money that you will never earn in your lifetime. Don't miss this good opportunity to make a fortune just for the sake of getting rich. I don't have much time to waste on it, I'll give you another chance to answer. Wang Peng thought that Zhang Yan was just trying to save face, and his words became even more arrogant. Not for sale. Zhang Yan still only sent Wang Peng 2 words. I don't sell it either. I have a lot of stinky money, and I can't speak well. Who cares to sell it to you? Wang Xiaoming also figured it out. This is a quota for the secret realm, so why worry about the buyer? Now they hold the initiative, why should they look at other people's faces? Wang Peng didn't expect that not only Zhang Yan refused, but even Wang Xiaoming didn't plan to sell, almost got his nose crooked. You guys can do it. Just wait and see. Wang Peng pointed at the noses of Zhang Yan and Wang Xiaoming, put down his harsh words, and walked out of class 3 and 6 angrily. Just wait and see. Wang Xiaoming curled his lips, looked at Zhang Yan and said, what do we do with this quota? Use it yourself or sell it? Let's sell it at the market price. We have 5 people, and there is no way to divide the 2 quotas, but I only sell Lingju for my share. Zhang Yan is not very interested in the secret realm quota. Most of the 108 secret realms released by the world of the heavens are open to high school and college students. Why? Because the things inside are only attractive to high school students and college students. Real high-level warriors or spiritual masters are simply not looked down upon. Since there is nothing of high quality, why should he waste energy and time? It's better to switch to Lingju or Lingxi, which will definitely improve him even more. Really good things still have to go to the wild to try their luck. For example, secret treasures, such as some secret realms and ruins that were naturally formed when the world of the heavens descended. That's where the imagination is, and where it's worth the risk. Man-made, he really doesn't like it. Suddenly, a cold female voice sounded, I want both of these places. Zhang Yan looked back and saw Su Menr in school uniform walking towards them from the classroom door. Menr, do you want both places? Wang Xiaoming asked in surprise. Well, let's buy it at the latest market price of 7 million, and the 2 quotas will be 14 million, which can be settled with Lingxi or cash. Su Menr said. 7 million. Then Wang Peng wanted to buy it with 5 million just now, as if we took advantage of him. Fortunately, we didn't sell it to him. Wang Xiaoming said happily. I've asked both Shuli and Gao Yang, now it's up to your opinions. After speaking, Su Menr glanced at Zhang Yan. Sure, anyway, I just want Lingxi and Lingju. Zhang Yan immediately expressed his opinion. Then I'll just need cash. Lingxi Lingju is not easy to circulate, and I have no chance to use it. Wang Xiaoming thought for a while. Cash and Lingxi Lingju are 2 completely different currency systems. One is the circulation currency of the earth, and the other is the circulation currency of the heavens. Even if ordinary families get spirit stones, they mostly use them for collection. Exchange it for cash when necessary. Only Zhang Yan frantically wanted to use all of them to replenish his spiritual power. Su Menr took out a small wooden box from her school bag, and when she opened it, she saw that it was full of milky white crystals. Seeing this scene, Wang Xiaoming couldn't help swallowing. God, how many spirit stones does this have to be? Is Su Shalwa so rich? Get rid of my share, each person is 2.8 million, and replace it with low-grade spirit stones, which is 28 yuan. Su Menr grabbed a small handful of spirit stones from the wooden box, and put them in front of Zhang Yan. You count. Thank you. Zhang Yan put away the spirit stone calmly. He had already seen how rich Su Menr was yesterday, and Su Menr bought a place in the secret realm worth more than 10 million when he opened his mouth. It is not surprising that he can take out so many spirit stones. The gap between the rich and the poor in this world is so exaggerated. Afterwards, Su Menr transferred Wang Xiaoming's 2.8 million over. Seeing so much money in his account, Wang Xiaoming felt like he was dreaming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 digits, haha, I'm rich. Wang Xiaoming counted the balance of the bank card back and forth, his chubby face almost bursting into laughter. By the way, I still owe you 50,000. Wang Xiaoming suddenly remembered, and immediately transferred the money for buying weapons to Zhang Yan. In this way, the balance of Zhang Yan's bank card is also close to 80,000. Little fatty, are you interested in selling you some good things later? Zhang Yan immediately made up his mind when he saw that Wang Xiaoming had money in his hand. He regards Wang Xiaopong as his brother. Brother has money, he must help share it. What good stuff? Wang Xiaoming asked curiously. I'm out of stock now, I'll bring it to you tomorrow, I'm sure you'll be satisfied. Zhang Yan decided to go to Lingwutang to do some shopping after school today. He now has spirit stones and cash. Tonight, you can work all night. Okay, as long as it's good, I'll definitely buy it. Wang Xiaoming immediately agreed. Su Menr and Zhang Yan's transaction process was watched by many students nearby. Who would have thought that just one field test would completely separate everyone? That was a reward worth tens of millions. Evenly distributed to everyone, there are several million. If they had known that the reward for the field test, there was actually a place to enter the number 37 secret realm, they would definitely be fully prepared. But it's too late to regret now. Zhao Xiyu was even more depressed. Originally, their team should be able to take the first place. Who knew that they were so unlucky that they picked up the corpse of the monster? Now that the whole team is blaming her, Wang Peng doesn't like to talk to her very much anymore. After returning home yesterday, there was no phone call. Today, Wang Peng came to the 3rd and 6th classes of high school, and he didn't even say a word to her. The rich boyfriend she found with great difficulty, did she blow it off like this? Zhao Xiyu was a little unwilling. Her eyes fell on Zhang Yan. Now Zhang Yan can be regarded as well off. Before graduating from high school, he has several million assets in his hands. The field test results are good, and it should be stable to get into a good university. Otherwise, she will give Zhang Yan another chance. Compared with a rich young master like Wang Peng, it's easier to get along with a poor family like Zhang Yan. At least he is obedient and won't give her any embarrassment. Now that I have money, I won't be as stingy as before. Thinking of this, Zhao Xiyu made a decision in his heart. After the class bell rang, the head teacher of class 3 and 6 of senior high came in from outside the classroom on time. He also carried a large bag of gift boxes in his hand. Inside are obviously the spirit beads and elixir that were rewarded for this field test. The homeroom teacher seemed in a good mood. He put the gift box on the podium, then looked at everyone and said, "I believe everyone knows the ranking of this field test. 2 teams in our class entered the top 10, and one of them the team entered the top 3, this result is already very good for our 6th class. Facts have also proved that even if you are not in the top class, even if you don't have a particularly outstanding cultivation talent, there is still a possibility of counterattack and turnaround in the end, so everyone should not give up hope at any time." After listening to the class teacher's speech, the students in the class were also mobilized emotionally. But anyone who is a little more sensible knows that this kind of poisonous chicken soup cannot be taken seriously. Either rich or talented, there is nothing. What can I use to counterattack and turn over? The rewards for the top 3 in this field test include 100 spirit beads, 5 bottles of green jade pills, and 2 quotas for Secret Realm No. 37. The top 10 rewards include 50 spirit beads and 5 green jade pills. The teams that have reached the ranking can now come up to receive your rewards. The head teacher said with a smile. Zhang Yan went up to get his own share of rewards, which included a total of 20 lingju and a bottle of green jade pill. The 2 places in the secret realm were all given to Su Menr. After the rewards were handed out, the class teacher continued, "The field test is over, but today the school also arranged a physical fitness test. Everyone, get ready and go to the training ground to gather in 10 minutes. As soon as this remark came out, the class suddenly became lively. Physical fitness test again. Come on, isn't that being ruthlessly crushed by the first class? It's been 3 months, and my one-handed strength has only increased by 10 kilograms at most. What's the difference if I don't test it? My improvement is quite obvious. In order to prepare for the college entrance examination, my family prepared a bottle of qi and blood pill for me. Qi shui pill. That thing is more expensive than Qingyu pill. Your family is really willing." Hearing this, Zhang Yan couldn't help but feel a little hopeful. One-handed strength of 5,000 kilograms is considered to have reached the standard of a first-order warrior. His one-handed strength should not be less than 2,000 kilograms. Before the college entrance examination, there is every chance to hit the warrior realm. After today's test, you will probably know how many pills you need to prepare. 10 minutes later, thousands of students gathered at the school training ground. There is only one strength tester per class. It took about 2 hours to finish testing everyone's results. Before it was his turn, Zhang Yan found a random place and sat down. He was about to use the synthesis table to see the effect of Qingyu pill, when Zhao Xiyu suddenly walked in front of him slowly. "Zhang Yan, I have something to tell you," Zhao Xiyu said coyly, grabbing the corner of her clothes. "Oh, you said," Zhang Yan responded lightly. "I thought about it carefully and decided to give you another chance. Didn't you always want to be my boyfriend? After graduation, let's date. Zhao Xiyu plucked up the courage to say what was in his heart. As for why it is after graduation, of course she still has to look at Zhang Yan's college entrance examination results before deciding whether to really be with him. If Zhang Yan doesn't live up to it, then she still has to think carefully. What did you say? Zhang Yan was taken aback for a moment, wondering if he heard it wrong. I said, I decided to give you another chance. Zhao Xiyu thought that Zhang Yan couldn't believe that such a good thing could happen to him, so he repeated what he said just now. Excuse me, are you awake? Zhang Yan finally understood Zhao Xiyu's meaning. It was clearly because Wang Peng didn't please him, so he came to him to take over the offer. Does he look like an honest man? Give him one more chance. Did Zhao Xiyu misunderstand this sentence? I'm sober now. Zhao Xiyu was eager to express his intentions, and didn't hear the sarcasm in Zhang Yan's words at all. Wang Peng forced me to do that before. I didn't mean to slander you. After leaving you, I found out that I already like you, so I am willing to give you another chance, as long as you are still willing to treat me well, I promise to date you. Don't, Zhang Yan said hastily, don't give me a chance. I'm very grateful that you let me go. A good girl like you is definitely suitable to find a better one. I don't deserve it. You. What do you mean? Zhao Xiyu turned pale. The literal meaning, if you don't understand, I suggest you go back and retake elementary school Chinese. Zhang Yan doesn't know how to be sympathetic, and he doesn't like dealing with hypocritical people. He did not directly tell the woman to leave, he was already very restrained. Zhang Yan, how did you become like this? Zhao Xiyu's eyes were full of disbelief. She never thought that Zhang Yan would reject her when she turned around. Zhang Yan had clearly said before that no matter how long he would wait for her, even if she was with Wang Peng, Zhang Yan would still bring her breakfast every day and ask her every day. How could there be such a big change in just a few days? Could it be that Zhang Yan really dated Su Menr? You don't really think you can catch up with Su Menr, do you? Zhao Xiyu bit her lower lip and said unwillingly, I heard from Wang Peng that Su Menr is the daughter of a big family in the imperial capital. There is no future with her. Quote? Zhang Yan pointed to his forehead, are you really normal here? He felt more and more that Zhao Xiyu might be a little seriously ill. After talking nonsense for a long time, Su Menr was even involved. When was he chasing Su Menr? Why didn't he know? Don't believe me, Wang Peng's family still has something to do with it. Ordinary people don't know about it at all. I advise you for your own good. Zhao Xiyu said earnestly. The reason why she is willing to tell Zhang Yan so much is that she believes that Zhang Yan must still like her. As for Su Menr, Zhang Yan only got along with her for a few days, and at most it was just a matter of interest or novelty. How could it compare to their hundreds of days of relationship? Quote. Zhang Yan took a deep breath. What he said was not clear enough, or did Zhao Xiyu not understand human speech? The original owner was blind, but he was not blind. Whoever wants to pick up this kind of disc must have their eyes covered in shit. Zhang Yan. Just when Zhang Yan couldn't help but want to start talking, the head teacher suddenly called his name. Yes. Zhang Yan ran over at the speed of a 100-meter sprint as if he was granted amnesty. Because everyone was still queuing up, Zhang Yan didn't talk too much. When he came to the strength tester, he punched the target with all his strength. There was a loud bang, the target shook violently back and forth, and the numbers on the display began to soar. When 500 plus, Zhang Yan is a bit fierce, he must have taken a tonic. It should be doubled compared to last time, I'm so envious. When 1000 plus, quote? Wait, is this device broken? At 2000 plus, if Zhang Yan's single-handed strength can reach 2000 kilograms, I will perform handstand diarrhea for everyone. At 3000 plus, no one has spoken. Finally, the value on the display finally stopped at 3250. The head teacher was also a little confused. He tried it himself, and after confirming that there was no problem, he waved to Zhang Yan. Come on, test it again. Zhang Yan was also surprised by this result. He thought that his single-handed strength was at most 2000 kilograms, but who knew he actually broke through 3000 kilograms. The effect of the advanced version of the second grade Huang Yudin is too strong. Of course, it is not ruled out that there is a problem with the instrument. Then test it again. Zhang Yan stood in front of the strength tester again, adjusted his breathing, clenched his fist with his right hand, and mobilized his whole body's spiritual power, then fixed his gaze, and suddenly swung his fist towards the target. Boom! There was only a sound of air bursting. Everyone saw that something seemed to fly out, the strength tester shook violently, and the numbers on the display kept jumping up. 500 plus, 1000 plus, 2000 plus, 3000 plus, finally stopped at 3365. At this moment, the scene was completely silent. After a while, someone responded. This time, there won't be another problem with the instrument, right? The targets are blown away. How much strength is this? My mother, more than 3000 kilograms, Zhang Yan wants to go to heaven. Did Zhang Yan take the 9th grade Qi and blood pill? I haven't tested it for a few months, and my one-handed strength has directly increased by 3000 kilograms. You think the 9th rank pill is Chinese cabbage? At most, the 5th rank Qi and blood pill can achieve this effect, and even if it is the 5th rank Qi and blood pill, Chuncheng can't find any place to sell it. I heard that Zhang Yan has a sister who was admitted to the Shanghai University. In such a big city, they might really have a channel to get a 5th grade Qi and blood pill. Hearing the discussions around him, Zhang Yan was a little dumbfounded. He was still struggling to find some reason to fool him, but he didn't expect that they had already arranged it for him. Having a sister who was admitted to Shanghai saves a lot of trouble. Zhang Yan, what's the status of your one-handed strength? The class teacher stepped forward and asked. Actually, I don't really know. Zhang Yan scratched his hair. Some time ago, my sister sent some pills back. After eating, I felt that my strength increased very quickly, but I didn't expect to have more than 3000 kilograms. What Zhang Yan said was true. What he ate was indeed Huang Yudin sent back by Zhang Yingshe, but it was processed with a synthesis table. He really didn't expect that his one-handed strength could reach more than 3000 kilograms. I thought that 2000 kilograms would be enough. It seems that if you want to become a first-order warrior before the college entrance examination, there shouldn't be any major problems. Your sister is Zhang Yingshe, right? I still have some impressions. I heard that she has a 5th-class talent in cultivation, and she was admitted to the National Key Shanghai University with the top 3 results in the outer city. The head teacher patted Zhang Yan on the shoulder. You have a good sister. For your college entrance examination, she must have spent a lot of effort. You can't let her down. I will work hard. Zhang Yan nodded. Seeing this scene, some people were amazed, some were envious, and some were jealous. Especially Zhao Xiyu. She almost regretted it to death. If I had known that Zhang Yan's sister was such a good guy, why would she be with Wang Peng? Don't look at Wang Peng as rich, but he is actually very good at it. During the time she was with Wang Peng, apart from getting a lot of envious voices and going to high-end restaurants a few times, she didn't get anything else. Now that the two have broken up, besides looking for Zhang Yan, what other choice does she have? The head teacher encouraged Zhang Yan a few words, and then called other people to take the test. When Zhang Yan came out from the crowd, Zhao Saran immediately wanted to go up to him, but was cut in by another figure. Zhang Yan, are you interested in secret realms? Su Menr came to Zhang Yan and asked. Huh, Zhang Yan glanced at Su Menr suspiciously. You mean secret realm? No. 37. That's right. Su Menr nodded. Secret realm number 37 is rich in various medicinal materials. I heard that a batch of new materials were released in the Heavens World last month. Now I need a reliable teammate. Are you sure you want to find me? Zhang Yan was stunned. Su Menr just bought the quota for the secret realm from him, and now he wants to invite him to the secret realm together. Doesn't this make him prostitute for nothing? There is such a good thing in the world. Seemingly seeing through Zhang Yan's thoughts, Su Menr explained, of course there are requirements. The things at the end of the secret realm must belong to me. We share equally the things on the way. Forget it, I'm not very interested in this kind of secret realm. Just as Zhang Yan refused, Su Menr continued, after the matter is completed, I will give you another martial skill. Deal. Zhang Yan changed his words without saying a word. He lacks a book of suitable martial arts right now. With martial arts, his strength will at least be doubled. The key is that it is difficult to buy this stuff with money. Even if you enter university, you only have one chance to choose martial arts. So as long as you are capable, you want to try your best to be admitted to a key university. Because in a good university, the collection of martial arts and spiritual skills alone is much richer than that of ordinary schools. What's more, Zhang Yan has a universal synthesis table, he won't have too many such things. No matter how ordinary a martial skill is, it can become a high-end one in his hands. But I also have a premise. Before the college entrance examination, you must become a warrior. The reason why Su Menr approached Zhang Yan was because Zhang Yan knew some of her secrets. After entering the secret realm, she doesn't need to consider such issues as hiding her strength when encountering special circumstances. In addition, Zhang Yan got 2 items in the black secret treasure box, and the whole cards in his hand will definitely not be missing, but good equipment also needs to have matching strength. Now that Zhang Yan has a spirit stone in his hand, it is not difficult to spend money to smash himself into the realm of a warrior before the college entrance examination. She didn't want to bring a half-baked person in, but dragged herself down instead. Yes, Zhang Yan agreed. No need for Su Menr to say, he also has this plan. He still pays more attention to the results of the college entrance examination. Then it's settled. Su Menr turned on the phone and confirmed the information. The opening time of the secret realm is on August 20th, and the location is in Shanghai. I will contact you in advance when the time comes. Okay. Zhang Yan nodded. At this moment, a few top students from class 1 suddenly walked over here. Su Menr, you seem to have 2 places for secret realm number 37 in your hand, do you want to join our team? We just need 2 people here. The leading boy directly ignored Zhang Yan, looked at Su Menr and said. In the secret realm, a team of 5 people is allowed to act. In such a big environment, it is actually very disadvantageous for a single person, or if the number is not enough. Therefore, the vast majority of people will choose to join the team before entering the secret realm. I have formed a team with Zhang Yan. Su Menr said lightly. Zhang Yan. Yang Hongqian frowned, and asked sideways, who is Zhang Yan? Isn't it the handsome guy next to her? The girl next to Yang Hongqian said. The gossip protagonist who made a lot of noise a while ago. I heard that the one-handed strength was only more than 200 kilograms a few months ago, and the one-handed strength just now was more than 3,000 kilograms. Yes, it's pretty awesome. More than 3,000 kilograms. Yang Hongqian sneered, looked at Su Menr again and said, you chose someone who is not even a warrior as a teammate, so you really look down on the level of competition in the secret realm. For the 3rd and 6th classes of high school, it is already a rare thing for a student who weighs more than 3,000 kilograms with one hand. But in class 1, more than 1/3 of the students can almost reach this level. He never took these mediocre people seriously. I don't need you to teach me yet. Su Menr's tone became cold. How about this, I can let the 2 of you join my team, but I have to distribute the things obtained in the secret realm. Yang Hongqian values Su Menr's strength very much. Although the spiritual master's development is slow in the early stage, Su Menr may break through at any time. A first-level spiritual master will become a great help in the team at that time. It is no exaggeration to say that a powerful spiritual master can even fight 10 against 1. Therefore, when the quota for the secret realm came down, he had already reserved a place for Su Menr. In order to win over a powerful teammate, he can also choose to make a concession. Did I say that I want to form a team with you? Su Menr frowned slightly. This person has been talking here for a long time, she never promised to form a team, right? Yang Hongqian's face froze for a moment. After a while, he took a deep breath and said, are you sure you want to reject me? I never planned to find other teammates, so why refuse? Su Menr said calmly. Okay, Yang Hongqian chuckled. Then I want to see how far you can go in the secret realm with this trash, and you will regret your decision today. After finishing speaking, Yang Hongqian stared fiercely at him, and then led the people away. Zhang Yan was scolded for no reason, lying on the gun for no reason, and was also a little speechless. You really don't have a temper, don't you? If he meets him in the secret realm at that time, he will definitely teach this brat how to be a human being. He is good everywhere, but he is more vengeful. After school, Shu Li organized everyone to have a simple dinner at the school gate. It was almost 9 o'clock in the evening when Zhang Yan arrived at Lingwu Hall after the work. He directly found a shopping guide and handed him the shopping list he had made in advance. About 10 minutes later, the shopping guide packed all the things from the warehouse and brought them in front of Zhang Yan. Sir, here are the 2 bottles of topaz pill, 1 bottle of qi and blood pill, and 4 pairs of lingfeng boots that you need. It's 110,000. Huang Yudin is 1,000 for 1 piece, and 20,000 for 2 bottles. Shishui pill is more expensive than Huang Yu pill and Qingyu pill, 5,000 for a piece and 50,000 for a bottle. Spirit wind boots are shoes made of a wind-type monster skin, priced at 10,000. After wearing it, there will be an illusion of walking against the wind, making the whole body a little lighter. But only a little. Those with low strength have little effect, and those with high strength don't like such low-level equipment. But this tasteless thing is just right for Zhang Yan's appetite. You can settle with Lingxi Lingju. Zhang Yan looked at the shopping guide and asked. Of course. The shopping guide smiled. The ratio of low-grade Lingxi to Lingju is 1:10, and the ratio of Lingju to Dragon Coin is 1:10,000, but few people are willing to exchange Lingju Lingxi for Dragon Coin cash. After all, on Earth, the common currency is still the cash of various countries. Lingju and Lingxi are scarce resources. Lingwu Hall is naturally happy to be able to pay with Lingju. Then let's pay for the Lingju. Zhang Yan originally planned to buy something with a budget of 80,000 yuan, but after the field test reward, there will be an extra 20 Lingju, so he doesn't need to save money. Keep some cash on him, and he plans to change his place of residence later. Although he shouldn't be able to stay in Spring City for too long, there's absolutely no need to feel bad about being squeezed into that small rental house. Even if he lives in a convenient hotel, it's more comfortable than living in a wooden house. After using up 11 spirit beads, Zhang Yan exchanged a bunch of things and returned to the rental house. After washing briefly, he took out the green jade pill and shishui pill. Before synthesizing, he must have a look at the original effect of the elixir. These 2 elixirs actually enhance physical fitness, but the qi and blood elixirs are more effective. Where the gap is, the seller of the elixir didn't make it clear. This depends on the identification function of the synthesis platform. Zhang Yan added the 2 kinds of elixir to the synthesis table, and checked the attribute introductions respectively. Yipin Qingyu pill. Consolidate the foundation and nourish the vitality, enhance the physique, and need to be taken for a long time to see the effect. Yipin Shishui pill. It can improve physical fitness in a short period of time. The effect is remarkable, but it will cause certain damage to the body, so it cannot be taken continuously. After reading the introduction, Zhang Yan probably has a good idea. Qingyu Dan is similar to Huang Yudin, both of which are slow-acting pills that need to be taken for a long time. One is external and the other is internal. The advantage is that there are no side effects and the price is cheap. Huang Yu Dan costs 1,000 pieces and Qingyu Dan costs 2,000 pieces. Qi and blood pills cost 5,000 pieces. Although the effect is remarkable in the short term, it will cause some damage to the body. This kind should be used temporarily in case of exams or when looking for a job. If there are no side effects, it is a good medicine. After taking out the elixir, Zhang Yan identified the spirit wind boots with a synthesis platform. Spiritual wind boots. Made of spiritual wind snakeskin, it has a lightening effect, and the effect is better when worn by wind healers, and it takes a long time for ordinary warriors to adapt. Functional equipment like this has no grade, and the quality of the item is all on the bright side. Zhang Yan is not a wind master, and he doesn't have so much time to adapt. When I bought the spirit wind boots, it was entirely to see if I could synthesize better attributes. Then let's synthesize spirit wind boots first. Zhang Yan added another pair of spirit wind boots, and the system immediately prompted. Synthetic spirit wind boots. Synthesis. Spiritual wind boots have been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the blast boots. Storm boots. Made of unknown material, wearing them can increase movement speed by 20%. Sure enough, Zhang Yan's eyes lit up. He just felt that the lightweight function of the spirit wind boots had something in common with the acceleration boots in the game. Unexpectedly, he was actually synthesized. People buy Lingfeng boots because they want to be more flexible. However, No matter how flexible the figure is, it is not as direct as increasing the speed of movement. Especially when encountering an opponent of comparable strength, the movement speed is higher than others, and to some extent it is invincible. Even if weapons are not as good as others, armor is not as good as others, martial arts and spiritual skills are not as good as others. But if you can't beat it, you can still run. Keeping the green hills in place without worrying about lack of firewood is also a tactic. Zhang Yan synthesized the remaining 2 pairs of spirit boots, then took out 2 spirit beads to restore full spiritual power, and continued to add the wind boots. Is it synthetic blast boots? Synthesis. The wind boots have been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the wind boots. Wind boots. Made of unknown material, wearing them can increase the movement speed by 50%. If the external wind force exceeds level 3, the wind control effect will be triggered, and the movement speed can be superimposed with the wind force. Is this all right? After reading the attributes of Yufeng boots, Zhang Yan was stunned. It turned out to be equipment that can produce special effects under certain circumstances. If there is a wind spirit master by his side, wouldn't it take off in place? And even if there is no wind power bonus, wearing it can increase the movement speed by 50%, which is more than double the attribute of the blast boots. It's just that the style is not too everyday, and it is too eye-catching when worn out. It would be great if the synthesis table could be customized. But these are minor issues. Most of the equipment has its own style. The most important thing is attributes. A good piece of equipment was synthesized, and Zhang Yan was in a very good mood. Weapons should also be upgraded. Zhang Yan put the wind boots into the inventory, and then took out 2 black iron fruit knives, and the bloodthirsty fruit knife synthesized from vampiric vines. They are all the same style. If you don't look carefully, you can't tell the difference at all. Zhang Yan didn't think about using this fruit knife as his main weapon either. But it is definitely the first choice for sneak attacks and bluffing people. So he will definitely continue to synthesize. Anyway, the materials are not expensive, and you can buy a lot at the $2 store. Now, it is to see if the bleeding effect added by the blood-sucking vine can be preserved after combining several fruit knives. Zhang Yan first synthesized the black iron fruit knife with 2 black iron fruit knives, and then added the black iron fruit knife and the bloodthirsty fruit knife into the universal synthesis table. Whether to synthesize black iron fruit knife plus bloodthirsty fruit knife. Synthesis. Black iron fruit knife plus bloodthirsty fruit knife have been synthesized. Congratulations on getting F-grade alloy fruit knife. F-grade alloy fruit knife. Although it is just an ordinary fruit knife, it is also forged with top F-grade alloy, invincible and comes with a bleeding effect. F-grade alloy. For this result, Zhang Yan was not surprised at all. Among the refining materials of Fanpin, only alloys can exceed the level of black iron. And the bleeding effect is also preserved. The universal synthesis platform has never let him down. The equipment in his hand now includes Tier 3 vampire vines and 13 ordinary vampire vines, which can be kept for subsequent synthesis. There are F-grade alloy fruit knives, which are also materials that can be easily obtained. The material of the wind boots is a little more expensive, but they are all trivial, and he is not short of that money now. What you hold in your hand, what you wear on your feet, and what you use for sneak attacks are all available. All that's left is a good armor. This Zhang Yan hasn't figured out what materials to look for yet. If it's just selling money, he can just buy something and synthesize it. But for his own use, he still needs to find materials that are easy to obtain. Zhang Yan also put away the F-grade alloy fruit knife. Next, is the synthesis of the elixir that he is most looking forward to. In terms of weapons and equipment, he can roughly guess the direction of synthesis. Only the pill, he was really not sure. Zhang Yan put 2 bottles of topaz pill, 1 bottle of green jade pill, and 1 bottle of qi and blood pill on the table. He has already synthesized Huang Yudin, so he doesn't have much expectation. So he decided to start with Qingyu pill and Shishui pill. I chose you. Zhang Yan took the green jade pill, uncorked the bottle, and poured out 2 pills. The taste of Qingyu Dan is lighter than that of Huang Yudin, and the texture is a bit like jade, but it does not have the transparency of jade. But as long as you don't say it, you can wear it as a necklace, and there is no sense of disobedience. Added the jade pill to the crafting table. Is it possible to synthesize a first-grade green jade pill? Synthesis. The first grade green jade pill has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the second grade green jade pill. Seeing the word, advanced version, Zhang Yan has become accustomed to it. Then look at the properties. Second grade green jade pill. Consolidate the foundation and cultivate the vitality, can greatly enhance the physique, and there is no use limit. Zhang Yan looked a little puzzled. The physical fitness has been greatly enhanced, and there is no usage limit. Shouldn't this be the enhanced version of the qi and blood pill? If qi and blood pills were synthesized with similar attributes, then the effects of the two pills would overlap somewhat. When choosing the pill later, he will definitely have a choice. But exactly how, after the synthesis we'll know. Is it possible to synthesize Yipan Shishui pill? Synthesis. The first grade qi and blood pill has been synthesized. Congratulations on getting the second grade qi and blood pill. Second grade qi and blood pill. It can triple the strength within 1 hour, and it will be more durable in some aspects, helping you regain the glory of the past. Quote ? After reading the introduction of Yipan Shishui pill, Zhang Yan was immediately full of question marks. Is this the same thing as Yipan Shishui pill? There is even more lasting. What the hell is it to reappear the glory of the past? No, he can't just eat this stuff. While it's tempting to triple the power, it always feels like a weird effect. Now the results are obvious. The green jade pill can be kept and taken by oneself, but the qi and blood pill should be sold for money. Maybe people with special needs will be able to take a fancy to this mutated qi and blood pill. He is strong and energetic. Don't use this kind of thing to improve yourself. In the following time, Zhang Yan synthesized all Huang Yudan, Qing Yudan, and qi and blood pill into a second grade. Immediately, each type of elixir was combined into a third grade one. This is the limit of his current spiritual power. However, the third grade elixir that was finally synthesized did not have any new effects. Third grade Huang Yudan. It can cleanse tendons and cut marrow, greatly improving physical fitness. Third grade green jade pill. Consolidate the foundation and cultivate the vitality, can greatly enhance the physique, and there is no use limit. Sanpan Shishui pill. It can increase the strength by 5 times within 1 hour, and some aspects will be more durable, helping you regain the glory of the past. While there were no surprises, it wasn't a surprise either. Ordinary elixir, from grade 1 to grade 9, will not have much difference in effect. But every time one level is upgraded, the efficacy of the medicine will vary greatly. The synthesized advanced version naturally follows this rule. Zhang Yan took out the third grade Huang Yudan and the third grade Qing Yudan separately. Try these two today. The next day, Zhang Yan came to school. Su Menr could tell the difference between him and yesterday at a glance. Are you already a warrior? Su Menr sat down opposite Zhang Yan and asked in a low voice. As her chosen teammate, she is more concerned about Zhang Yan's strength. Zhang Yan's breakthrough as a martial artist before the college entrance examination is already a certainty. Because she knew that Zhang Yan had an older sister in Shanghai, and now she had spirit stones in her hand, so it was not a big problem to get training materials. But I didn't expect that she just mentioned it yesterday, and today Zhang Yan directly achieved his goal. This speed is too fast. You must know that in order to become a warrior, in addition to the physical requirements, there is also a bottleneck that is difficult to break through. This requires a lot of pills and time to attack. On the premise that there is no shortage of supplies, 1 month is barely enough. But how long is Zhang Yan? Yesterday's single-handed strength was no more than 3,000 kilograms, and in just one night, he reached the minimum requirement of 5,000 kilograms and successfully broke through the bottleneck. It's not so fast to eat pills as candy. What's more, the quick-acting elixirs on the market cannot be taken in large quantities in a short period of time, even the 5th grade qi and blood elixirs that everyone says is no exception. It should be a warrior. Zhang Yan said uncertainly. He just took a 3rd grade topaz pill yesterday, and he felt like he was riding a rocket, directly rushing to the realm of warriors. There is no bottleneck or anything. And this is just the beginning. Later, he successively took 4 3rd grade Wangyu pills and 2 3rd grade green jade pills. Even he himself doesn't know what level of cultivation he has reached now. However, it was probably due to taking too many elixirs at one time, and the effects of the third grade Huang Yudan and the third grade Qing Yudan had dropped a lot, and taking them later might not even have half the effect. Don't you have a bottleneck in breaking through as a martial artist? Su Menr blinked her eyes, her face full of curiosity. Maybe I was lucky last night and realized it in my dream. Zhang Yan thought for a while. Quote. Su Menr was speechless. People might not believe such words to coax children. At this time, Wang Xiaoming also came over. Zhang Yan, why do I feel that you are very handsome today? Many girls in the class are looking at you. Wang Xiaoming said with a sour tone. Not everyone has Su Menr's eyesight. Everyone felt that Zhang Yan had changed slightly, but they didn't know exactly what changed. But becoming handsome, this is everyone's first impression. I wasn't handsome before. Zhang Yan raised his eyebrows. He was handsome before. Wang Xiaoming squeezed Zhang Yan in and sat beside him. The good thing you said yesterday, is there still some leftover of the 5th grade qi and blood pill that your sister gave you? That's not true. Zhang Yan paused, and continued, but I have a similar one here. I don't know the name of the elixir. Anyway, the effect is very good. I just tried it yesterday. Show me, show me. Wang Xiaoming said impatiently. Zhang Yan took out a glass bottle from his backpack, and saw that there was a jade-like elixir inside. It looked more like a green jade elixir, but its color was extremely transparent, with blue lines on it. This is what is left over from yesterday's 10 sapphire pills, and it just happens to be able to synthesize another 2nd grade one. By the way, Zhang Yan brought it to Wang Xiaoming. Why does this elixir look a bit like Qingyu pill? But the appearance is much higher than Qingyu pill, why are there patterns on it? Wang Xiaoming said while looking at the glass bottle in Zhang Yan's hand. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.